the George R. Brown Convention Center in beautiful Houston, Texas. It is the Texas Football Today THSCA Coaching School Special presented by our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission. Hello, I'm Greg Tepper, Editor-in-Chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, a long part of your day. We presume you're staying the whole time. Whether you're watching us live, .com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of the places. I am normally alone on a desk, but finally I've got a co-pilot, joined by Dave Campbell's Texas Football High School Football Insider and the most popular man in this convention center, Matt Stepp. Hello, Matt Stepp.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. We've got a big couple days on deck.
We do.
Here
Lots
in
of
Houston.
broadcasting. Got to save our voices.
We've got 3 hours today. 3+ hours, actually.
I like to call us heroes.
Yeah.
I'll refer to us as heroes.
A star-studded lineup of guests that are going to be joining us throughout the course of the day over the next 3+ hours. Vianney Moreno is at the controls. I don't think she has a camera on her. Otherwise, she doesn't. She's shaking her head. But just trust us.
Hello.
She's there. There she is. There's her dulcet tones.
Yes.
But I wait to hear from some football coaches when we can get right to it, Matt Stepp. Because in the hot seat right now, we're pleased to be joined by the new head coach of the Eagles out there in the Panhandle, Coach Matt Lovorn. Coach, it's good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Coach?
Thanks for making some time for us.
Absolutely.
How was the trip to Houston? That's
It was
bit of
good.
a haul.
We flew.
Oh, good for
Yeah,
you.
we
I was
flew,
going to say,
so-
this is we're getting right off the bat, the coach who had to travel the furthest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right off the bat here.
I've already, talked to a few guys from Perryton that
Okay.
are here, and so
Yeah.
they came a little further.
Yeah,
but
they did. You are taking over this Canyon Eagles program on a full-time basis after being interim coach there for the back half of the season. I'm really curious about how last year went for you. Obviously, some turmoil there within the program. You take over and take care of the program in an interim position. Now getting the promotion to head coach. From your perspective, I'm curious about the challenges that last year provided and also the opportunities that gives you to boost this team moving forward.
Yeah. So the first thing, mid-season, when a change was made, then we as a team and as a coaching staff, but then also with our players, man, we had a long visit, just as a family, and just saying, guys, we can make this thing really good, and if we, choose to have bad attitudes about certain things, then this can be really bad for us. And full credit to our kids. They bonded. They came together just like you would expect them to. They rode for the Brands the rest of the season, and it was fun just to be a part of. And we finished that season just like I said, kind of like as a family. And there wasn't just one person outdoing anybody else. It was just this is us, and we gotta do this the way that we want it. So, and it was good. The experience was good. And I was sure proud of our kids and coaches.
Now, rolling into 2026, obviously now you get an off season where you're in charge. It's your program, for this off season, and it's interesting because you're in a unique position because you're a Canyon guy.
Sure.
You played for Coach Bryant, right?
Yes, sir.
And Coach Bryant had such a long tenure there.
Oh, yeah.
Really, put his stamp on the program, and I know a lot of what you do stems back to what Coach Bryant does, but also, you had 14 years there at Stratford and a long time at Stratford. So how do you balance, that balance of playing for the C and the tradition that Canyon has, but also putting your own spin on things? Yeah.
So going to school at Canyon, playing for Coach Bryant, man, that changed who I was and honestly put me in a direction to want to coach. I mean, that guy had a ton of influence on me. He actually, as soon as I graduated from college, he pointed me in the direction to go worked for Coach Metcalf in Stratford.
Mm-hmm.
And so
a legend in his own right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so I was fortunate at a young age coaching to be able to be around a couple of veterans like those that sure guided me. And I've the experiences in both programs, not only playing at Canyon but coaching at Stratford and now being back to Canyon to be the head coach. I mean, all of that plays a role in it. And so I've just been blessed to be around some good folks, and then just being able to put that to work. And with all those experiences, man, we're gonna do everything we can with it at Canyon, and it's we're looking forward to a really really good season ahead.
I want to ask you about carrying over the end of last year to the beginning of this year. Momentum, just good feelings, however you want to feel it. Obviously getting hot in the playoffs, making it all the way to the regional semifinals. How has that conversation been in the offseason about how last year ended, both the good and the bad? Obviously, every team wants to win a state championship. You guys fell short of that. But at the same time, you guys were playing your best ball there down towards the stretch. How do you communicate about that within the room?
Find little things, and you preach on those things to be big victories for us. And if you can stack those things up, man, kids in our community start feeling good about that stuff, and you hang on to them. Our athletic director, John Peterson, did a good job of making the leadership transition happen in December and really quick. Mm-hmm. So therefore, whenever January got around and we came back from the break, we were hitting the ground running, and we weren't waiting on anything. And so, and we've talked about those things, the successes that we've had, but then the ways this coming season to build on that. And so we've got a big senior class that's coming up that we're going to, those guys, man, like I said, they're riding for the brand right now, and they're going to carry a big load for us.
You mentioned Coach Peterson and the athletic administration at Canyon. I want to get a chance to brag on those guys a little bit, because I don't think Canyon and then Canyon ISD gets the credit on a statewide level that you guys deserve in your success, not only in football, because you think about in football, you guys were a third-round team. Randle was a third-round team. West Plains was a fourth-round team. Yeah. But then the other sports, the three Canyon schools are more than competitive. I would say regional contenders in almost every sport across the board. And I believe state champions in track and field.
Yes,
boys and girls, right?
Yes, and also in cross country.
Yeah, so just an unbelievable track record of success. What does that say about your district and leadership, and then the kids in Canyon ISD, the success in all sports?
All three high schools do a really good job at that, but our leadership in the school district, and whenever it comes to athletic department, it comes down to John Peterson, but their whole staff, and then just being able to get coaches in the right place for those programs to be successful, I think is huge. And it was really neat, this year, for at least with Canyon High, to be able to come off with that Texas Cup.
Yeah, with the Texas Cup. Okay.
Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah. And so, again, it speaks volumes, just all the programs there and the leadership with it.
And you're the campus coordinator, right?
Yes.
Are you the campus, so
it all flows back to
coordinating them up, right, Coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But I think you have to take some credit for that. I know you won't take credit for that, but just putting, your head coaches on campus doing a great job, and I know you have – people think, oh, you're just a football coach, but you're out there supporting those coaches and those other programs, and that's just a culture thing, right, across the whole school. Yep.
And we've got to be that way. I mean, if we're going to have any chance of success, we've got to be able to be that way and support each other, and that's also what makes it fun.
Matt Lovorn, head coach of the Canyon Eagles, joined us here at the THSCA Coaching School Convention here in Houston. Coach, I want to ask you about a couple of your individual players, specifically QB1, Brock's Hacker.
Yes, sir.
This guy, what an unbelievable junior year he put together. Yeah. Really impressed. What have you seen from him just in terms of his growth that has you most excited heading into his senior year?
Whenever first and foremost, he's a phenomenal just young man. His character is super high, and so that type of character and leadership is number one, what you want in a quarterback, but also just leading the locker room, and he's an extension. I always tell him all the time, he's an extension of us as a coaching staff on the field when we're not there, and he takes that role really, really well. He never gets too high or too low. He's really even keel, and I think that also is a big part of him playing that quarterback position for us. And then simply on the field, the thing that really, really was good for us as a team is that we didn't necessarily expect from him last year was him running the football for us. And he's not going to be the fastest guy on the field. He's a smart football player, and he had a great season for us. He was really efficient passing as well, and so we're expecting big things from the senior year.
Let's talk about your defense a little bit. Tell us kind of if your defense is going to have the season that you want to have, what's got to go right on the defensive side of the ball for the Canyon Eagles to have some success?
Whenever it comes to defense, all 11 guys have to be on the same page, and we've got to be able to communicate and fly to the football and be aggressive. And those are the things that we're going to hang our hat on constantly. We've got several returning guys defensively, especially linebackers and in our secondary that we're expecting big things out of. But, man, that's the biggest thing is our communication, our aggressiveness.
All right, I want to ask you because you have a state championship to your name.
Sir.
I don't know where the ring is right now. You have a state championship there at Stratford. Obviously, Canyon, 4A Division I team. Stratford, 1 and 2A Division II. Is ball just ball? You know what I mean? Like, what is the difference that you can notice as somebody who has competed at the highest level at kind of a call it mid to upper tier type classification to the smallest classification? What is the biggest difference that you can tell?
I would say, the talent level, that we see, at the 4A level, and all of that is just, I would say, just there's more of that, and there's a lot of talented kids at the 2A level. I know you guys have seen it, but there's just more of it at the 4A level. But Greg, you said it, man. At the end of the day, football is football, and schemes are schemes, but at the same time, a lot of things just come down to the kids and the programs.
Coach, I can't let you leave here without talking about your district.
Yep.
And 1 4A Division I, or 2 4A Division I now. It's 2 4A Division I. Always just not just the Canyon schools, but Coach Dunham at Dumas does a great job. Hereford's had some good teams in the past. Coach White there at Pampa is getting that thing turned around. Top to bottom, man, your district is week in and week out is tough. Tell us what kind of challenges the teams in your district are going to present to you guys.
Yeah, and there's the teams that we have. Tell you what, it can be a toss-up a lot of weeks.
Yeah.
It's week to week who's going to win, and so it's nice to say, hey, I think this is going to be district champ. But shoot, guys, I couldn't tell you who is going to be the front runner in that district. Each program has some really talented kids, but I'll tell you what, they're also led by some really good coaches, and that's the other scary part every single week, and so it also makes it fun. That's a fun district to be a part of.
Got to brush up on our tiebreakers, Coach.
Yeah,
we got to brush up on the district tiebreakers, don't we? Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. You're hoping you don't end up in any of those. You hope you got a 0.
Those
in
are
that L
not fun
column,
to be
right?
a part of.
Yeah, yeah. There's an easy way to avoid it, Coach.
Yeah. Oh no, just win. Yeah.
He's Matt Lovorn. He's the head coach of the Canyon Eagles. Coach, we so appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for stopping by.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to watching your Eagles in the fall.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely. There he goes, Matt Lovorn, head coach of the Canyon Eagles, joining us here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in. I almost said San Antonio.
We're used to being in San Antonio. The last 2 years we were in San Antonio.
Yeah, exactly. In Houston, here we're at the George R. Brown. We're going up until after 2 o'clock.
Oh, we're going long, huh?
We've got an overtime at 2 o'clock. We have a special unadvertised test.
Wow.
That
Sneaking this in on me, aren't you?
We're sneaking it in there at the end, but make sure you stick with us. We've got big-time guests that are going to be rolling through.
The crowd is building around us
Dave
here.
Campbell's
We've got a big-time conference championship college coach hanging out over there.
We've got a lot of stuff popping here. It's the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Greg Tupper and Matt Stepp with you. Excited to see what Coach Lovorn is able to do. He's a guy who's obviously got championship pedigree, and he's got a history program.
Yeah, he's a Canyon guy. He was the offensive coordinator before getting promoted, and like I said, Canyon ISD, just from a football standpoint, the level of football that they play in Canyon ISD between them, Randle, and West Plains, it's really, really impressive. A lot of good football, and it's going to be fun week to week. And I love catching those games up there at Happy State Bank Stadium in beautiful Canyon, Texas, and it's a lot of fun. Speaking
of guys who know a little bit about ball, we've got another coach in the hot seat.
Another ball knower in the house.
Ball knower. But we're going from far off in the nether regions of Texas,
the panhandle there,
to a guy who slept in his own bed last night. We're pleased to be joined. I don't know where he slept, Coach. He's the head coach of the Cy Ranch Mustangs, Coach Will Blaylock. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, man. How y'all?
We're doing great. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time with us.
How's the headset feeling? It's been a while since you put one of those on, huh?
Yeah, it's been a couple of months. I got to get back used to it.
There you go.
Got to get back used to it. Entering your third year here in your fourth year there at Cy Ranch, right?
Third.
This is year number 3. What do you know now about this program and this job that maybe you didn't know, when you walked into it 3 years ago?
Just kind of the size of it, the depth of it. You know, it has a lot of tradition, but there had been kind of a gap. So the kids now didn't really know about the 2014 team. So just kind of bridging that a little bit. And then once it got rolling, just the people came out of everywhere. And so now it just turns into a bigger program than what I was used to or expected.
When you were at Lubbock Estacado and you came to Cy Ranch, you got hired really late. I mean, it was late May when you got hired. May, right?
Yeah, I got offered the job while I was at the state track meet.
Yeah,
oh my gosh!
So that first year, it's a whirlwind. You're just trying to get from day to day. I'm assuming at some point. Last year, you had more of a normal off season, and I felt like towards the end of the year, man, your program, you guys were just clicking on all cylinders. Was there a moment last year where you really felt like, okay, we got a chance to be something special?
We had a come to Jesus meeting. It actually happened after a loss. We lost to a Memorial. You know, Coach Hack had them rolling. We lost by 1, and we had a bye week, and we just sat down as a team and the coaching staff and said, look, we got to decide who we're going to be. And we circled the wagons. We changed up some of our logistics, and the kids bought into it, and then it started to snowball, and next thing you know, you've won 4 straight and 5 straight and playing for a district championship, and you win it. Now they started believing, and so you could just feel that momentum and the way they worked out and the way they conducted themselves, and it became contagious. Volleyball was in the state semifinals, and, you know, that's going a long time. Same time we're in our playoff run. It was a great time to be on campus.
I want to ask you about we'll talk about things that coaches love to talk about, which is the players who aren't coming back. Because we ask coaches on their questionnaire to turn in, and we're like, hey, key losses. Coaches will turn in 1, maybe 2 names. Coach, I'm reading your questionnaire, and you were brutally honest about your key losses. Sending the kids to Louisiana Tech, North Carolina, Army, Junior College, Colorado School of Mines, Sam Houston, McNeese, Rice, Sam Houston, Prairie View A&M. You're putting a lot of guys into the next level. This is 2-part. First of all, how proud does that make you of the program that you're helping to build? And also, what needs to happen for you guys to be able to replace those guys who were so important for your run?
I mean, you know, something I learned actually when I was at Estacado from Coach Wag is tradition never graduates. So the expectation and the standards are there. I take pride in recruiting and getting our kids out because to me that's better than wins and losses because that's changing lives. There's nothing better than a kid telling his parents, you don't have to pay for me to go to college, or they get an opportunity that they've always wanted from Little League on up, and now you sign and you get to go to the next level. But now the younger guys know the expectation. You know, it's one thing to watch that guy that's going to North Carolina or La Tech or wherever. Well, now you got to fill his shoes. Now the expectation is that position group doesn't fall off because of graduation.
When you look at your team this year now, you know, you guys go 10-3 last year, regional semifinalists, and district champs. So it's a little different this year because now you've got the target on your back. It's harder. I think it's almost harder to stay at the top of the mountain than it is to get to the top of the mountain. What's been your message to your guys about that? Because you know for sure if you weren't getting everybody's best shot last year, you're definitely going to get it this year. So what's the message? How do you message that to your kids about staying on top and maintaining that standard you guys set last year?
Man, with this group, it's actually kind of easy because of social media. So when you win, you know, people take shot at the kids, and these kids go back and forth. And so I just use that as bulletin board material. Like, everybody's coming. You know, when the new schedule was announced, and all of a sudden, you know, they're talking trash, and our kids talking trash, and it's all fun, it's all good. But they understand that everybody wants that district championship trophy. You know, Bridgeland is upset that we beat them last year. Coach Madison does a great job. You know, South Springs was a great game last year. And that series has been going back and forth, so they're going to be ready. There's no weeks off, you know, and they have to understand that, and that's the way we worked them out this offseason in the weight room. And they also learned, you know, losing in overtime to a top program in Waxahachie, and they were right there. That's just something we could keep putting out in front of them, you know, in those days where it's kind of rough. Hey, man, you were this close. What are you going to do to get over the hump? Like you showed that you were there. What are you going to do to make it happen?
Talking with Will Blaylock, head coach of the Mustangs here on Texas Football. Today, get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Coach, your district championship defense will come in a very different way, thanks to the UIL realignment, from District 16 to District 23. And this is the kind of thing where I love, like high school football casuals would be like, what's the big deal?
Yeah,
They changed districts.
This is the nerd stuff right here.
But that is obviously a massive flip, not only from Region 2 to Region 3, but to the other side of the bracket in a lot of ways. When realignment came out, what was your reaction, and how do you approach what is a new land for you guys?
I was shocked. I mean, of all the projections, even the coaches in the office, we had stuff written up on the board. Hey, this could happen. We could go here, go there. That was not one of them. So when it happened, my phone blew up. I'm like, is this real? Is this, we're in Region 3 now. Are we separate from the other Cypress? I'm like, yeah. And so, Region 2 is Region 2. It's a gauntlet to go through, but you'll be battle tested. But now we're in the same region with state champs. We're in the same region with Summer Creek, Seed King. Like, there's dudes everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to run from competition, but it's just a different way. Now you're looking at Austin schools and people that you haven't played before. And now we got a lot of travel. We're going south to Lamarcon 3 times. So just the whole logistics of it, instead of just playing at the Bear Center or Pridgeon every week, now you got to load a bus, go 45, 50 minutes. But that's high school football. I'm from East Texas where we go 2 hours all the time.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're from East Texas, but you're a guy who's coached as an assistant. You coached in East Texas. You coached in DFW. You coached in Houston as an assistant. You played college football at Baylor. You were a head coach in West Texas. So you've been in every part of the state. And I do feel like every part of the state does have kind of their own flavor of football in a lot of ways. And did you take a lot of – every coach takes a little bit from wherever they go, but you really had a kind of a kaleidoscope of different experiences as an assistant coach. Do you feel like that has come to benefit you now being in the big chair?
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot and been blessed to be around every situation and demographic. And I had a coach, Michael Johnson, God rest his soul, at John Tyler, who just told me, write down all the good things you notice in a program. And when you get your chance, just keep it. And so I have a box and a filing cabinet with all my old packets, and I just wrote stuff down. And I pull them out every now and then. How would I handle this situation? Because John Tyler is different than Estacado, which is different than Crosby, which is different than Tomball. But they're still kids. At the end of the day, it's 15 to 18-year-olds. So, but all of those did kind of help me becoming a head coach. I'm kind of ready for everything.
Coach, there's no shortage of talent on your roster. It's a loaded group, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about one guy in particular, which is Amari Vickerson, your outstanding defensive lineman, second team Whataburger super team in the preseason, and a guy who's an SMU commit. You can flip on the tape. I'm smart enough to be able to flip on the tape and be like, oh, that kid's pretty good. But you're the guy who sees him every day in practice. You're the guy who's with him. What makes Amari Vickerson special?
Man, of course he's talented. He DNA is undefeated. His dad Kevin's an awesome guy. His mom, she's supportive. She's 6 feet tall. Like, he got all the pieces. But his work ethic, it's hard to get big kids to play football nowadays. You walk through a lot of schools, there are big kids who don't play. But Amari is one. He's going to do extra reps. He's going to do extra workouts. He's going to go to every camp. Like, he likes to compete. And then in the same breath, it makes our other kids better. Because I got a center that started 13 games as a sophomore. He had to go against him every day. So when he showed up to game day, he's like, I've been going against a 4 or 5-star kid Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Friday night's pretty easy. But I think he makes those around him better. And when he's rolling, our defense is different. And he took responsibility for that last year, and he stepped his game up, and you can see it in the production.
Coach, I want to ask you, flip to the offensive side of the ball, and we got to watch you guys at 7-on-7 in College Station, and you guys had a great run. And I think a lot of it starts with your leader on offense, your quarterback, Braden Baker. And I think I remember seeing him 2 years ago as a sophomore on a Saturday when y'all played Bridgeland. I think it was Bridgeland.
No, it was Woods.
Was it Cy Woods? Okay, yeah. Cy Woods. You played Cy Woods on a Saturday, and your starting quarterback goes down with an injury. And Braden comes in as a sophomore and leads you on a game-winning 2-minute drive to win the football game. And I was like, this kid can go. He's got something special. How have you seen his maturity and growth, and how excited are you to have a leader like that for your offense?
Man, El Capitan, man. Baker's the captain of this ship, and there's no question about it. But he's a great young man. Nothing shakes him. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think he threw 30-something touchdowns, had 1 interception that ricocheted off a kid. He never get waivers. He's the leader. When he walks on the field, they know the standard just raised up a little bit when he's there. We told him to get faster. He ran track, ran on our JV 4x2. He's gained about 10 to 15 pounds. And he can he's the prototype of a quarterback if you were going to design one personality-wise. Yes, he can throw a football from my house to your house. But his even keel, understanding concepts, there are times when we can signal in a play and Braden will look at the coverage and signal back to us. Sometimes a better play makes us look great. but he's
nice to have, right?
Yeah, it's always nice to have that guy. But he's the key and makes this machine go, especially on offense.
This is a program now where the expectations are probably where you would want them to be, right? Maybe in year one it wasn't there. How do you every day keep that kind of fire burn, especially when it's summer workouts? This is the time when guys want to maybe take their foot off the gas. How do you kind of keep these guys focused when we still are a couple weeks away from hitting people?
One, we didn't do spring ball, so they've been anxious to hit somebody. But we got in the weight room. We needed to be. We know if you want to make a legitimate run at 5-6 rounds, you got to be strong. It's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
And just keeping them competing from 7-on-7. We qualified for state, which hadn't been done in a while. We went up to SMU for a 7-on-7 tournament. We wanted to compete against the Metroplex teams and just go see something different. So you kind of just keep dangling carrots in front of them and getting them to compete. And, they want to go show that they're just as good as the DFW or any other school in Houston. So we kind of got that chip on our shoulder. And they want to prove that last year wasn't a one-time thing. So that was good for me as a coach. I can just kind of throw it out there. Hey, they don't really think you're that good. You got to go show them.
Final question before we get you out of here, Coach. I know week one, you guys are opening the season in a Dave Campbell's Rising Game of the Week on Thursday night against Fort Bend Hightower. And a program that you know well. You were an assistant there at one time, and a guy in leading that program, in Cornelius Anthony, who I know you know very well, and you guys were on the same coaching staff there. Talk about that game a little bit. How you're not ducking from smoke. You're playing great competition right away, and Hightower is one of those great teams. What kind of challenges and how excited are you for that game? Are you?
I mean, they were already good, and then he goes and gets a stud quarterback, and I was like, you didn't tell me that we made the game. But now CA is a great guy. I learned a lot from him the year I worked for him. But we told our kids, if you want to be the best, you got to go play the best. You can't run from it, and that's no knock on anybody on our schedule. I think they're all good. But we wanted to make sure when we get ready for this tough district that we're ready to go, that we've seen, C.E. King play for a state championship, Hightower that's been to a state championship in their program that's going 3 or 4 rounds. You need to see that. You need to travel, get on the bus, go across Houston on a Thursday when Hall Stadium's going to be packed, and you got to go be the visitor and go win on the road and go man up and play. So I know they're going to be ready. They're going to be locked in. They're fast. They're athletic. And, we're going to show up and do what we do. He's
Will Blaylock. He's the head coach of the Cy Ranch Mustangs. We're excited to see your ball club, Coach. We appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with us, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Enjoy coaching school, Coach.
Yeah, the home field advantage for coaching school.
Man, I appreciate it anytime.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. There he goes. Will Blaylock, head coach, the Cy Ranch Mustangs. Join us here at Texas Football Today live at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. That's a team.
I'm excited about Cy Ranch.
Let me tell you another guy who's really excited about is Greg Powers.
Yes.
Our Rising crew, they are fired up because we didn't even mention Armani Edwards, like they're stud to horse offensive lineman.
One of the best offensive linemen in the country.
This is a loaded ball club.
Their sophomore safety Antonio Murray, big time offers across the board. We saw him at state 7-on-7. Cy Ranch is an incredibly talented roster, and they're going to be a real team to watch in the Houston area. I think a team, obviously North Shore's a team to beat. Mm-hmm. They've won the state championship last year. But I think Cy Ranch is right there ready to compete.
Cy Ranch, we're excited to see them coming up here. This is Texas Football Today live at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Greg Tepper, Matt Stepp with you. We are going on till what? 2:15, 2:20 until they kick us on, until they turn out the lights, baby.
Yeah.
But we are continuing our run of outstanding guests and championship guests.
Championship-winning guests.
We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the SWAC champion Prairie View A&M Panthers. It is our good friend Tremaine Jackson. Coach, appreciate your time, my friend. Appreciate you making some time for us.
Fellas, I feel like I've arrived, man. I used to walk around here and try to see what y'all were talking about now.
Now let me tell you something. That's wild for you to say that you feel like you've arrived, considering I don't know. Last year went pretty well for you guys. I would say maybe you arrived then, Coach. I'm going to be honest.
No, we had a decent time, man, and certainly didn't finish the way we wanted to, but certainly better than when we walked in the door. And so we look to finish the fight, man. But I really appreciate you guys having me here.
When you arrived there at Prairie View, you talked a lot about raising the standard, and just raising the expectations.
Yeah.
I would say year one, pretty darn good. How do you – but that climb is always sometimes – you got the climb and then you got staying up there. How do you keep that same hunger, that same fire in a program like this?
Yeah, man, we teach our guys just because you were don't mean you are, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever we were yesterday, that was yesterday. Today's a whole new day, and if you try to live off the food you ate off of yesterday, you'll be hungry today, right? And so we try to make sure we kill what we eat, what we want to eat. And that's to make Prairie View A&M an elite FCS program. And our guys have really bought into that. Our coaches, our school, from the president to our AD, everybody's bought into the vision that we had. And when you have that, then you have some success.
When you had the success you had last year, and I know this year is a new year and you're looking forward, but when you look back at last year, have you seen a change on campus and a buzz about, I'm sure in September when there was a Prairie View football game, it was a different kind of energy than it was in late October when you guys were competing for a conference championship. And I'm sure it's got to be big for the campus, big for the community. Yeah. And I'm sure now, and I know you and your staff are focused on between the lines, but from a program standpoint, there's got to be a lot of buzz and a lot of good vibes around the community about Prairie View football going forward.
There is, man, and you know like I know, man, there's a lot of people in this state and in this region of the country that are connected to Prairie View A&M in some form or fashion, either through themselves or through one of their family members. And so now, like you said, in September, not many folks was at the game. Late November, we on the run, clinching the West. Here go the folks. And then when we got to Atlanta, I thought Atlanta, we were still in Prairie View with so many people still there, right? And so those people have really shown up. You can tell by season tickets. If you ever want to know if you're growing, just look at your season ticket sales. People have sold out the bottom of our stadium. I don't think that's happened before. So it speaks to the excitement. We just got to continue to grow and teach them. We have to teach them how to be fans of great football.
Well, I'll tell you this. Your stadium, I covered a couple of high school playoff games this year. One of the finest FCS stadiums in the state of Texas, the Prairie View Panther Stadium. And I can't imagine what it's like on a Saturday afternoon when there's 15,000 people in purple and gold cheering that team on. It looks like a fun atmosphere.
I'm going to let you know because I think we're going to get 15 this year. We hadn't got it yet. I think we're going to get it this year. We want to make sure people see what we have. We're letting Randle and Sock open up the season there, and that's going to be a really good deal because we want to show people, high school students and their families, that Prairie View A&M is what we say it is.
That's one thing that when you got there, you were very open about wanting to host and we're obviously high school football-centered guys, and Coach Randle's right over there. He's on deck, and I know you guys are hosting Randle and Sock in week 1. It was important for you to host high school football games, and I think it's just a way to showcase your facility, and not just for the potential recruits that could be players, but students at Prairie View in the band, in the drill team, in the dance team, or just kids who are following their friends playing high school football who are looking for a place to go to college. It's a showcase. It's a showpiece for your campus, right?
Absolutely, man. I'm a Texan, and Prairie View A&M has not hired anybody from the state of Texas to be the head football coach. Coach Nix was from Georgia. And so when you look at our history and where we are in our state, we needed people to understand that, man, I went to Waltrip High School. I am a Houston Texan, right? And so we want great football played in our stadium. Great football is played in this state, and so we thought it would be fitting. It was so important to us that we've got new turf, and Randle and Soccer play a game on our turf before us. And so I really need them to pat the turf down a little bit and get it ready for us. But it was that important to
that
us.
kind of football game, I'm sure they're going to get after it on that Friday night.
We hope so. We won't even be there. We open up with Tarleton State, so I look forward to hearing about it when we get back. But certainly, man, we want to host that. We want to do playoff games. We want to do more. When I got here, I said Prairie View A&M is open for business for high school football in this state, and we mean that.
Tremaine Jackson, head coach of Prairie View A&M Panthers, join us here on Texas Football today. Let's do what Coach would love to do, which is talk about painful losses. Coach, let's go back to last year. I got to ask you about it. Come on. You guys are up 21-0. You end up come up short in a quadruple overtime. Like, one of the games of the – I mean, I know it didn't end the way you wanted, but, like, as someone who's just watching football, one of the games of the year. It seems to me there's two ways to deal with that. You can either talk about it a lot within your program, or you can talk about it never. Where do you land on that?
Yeah, it really wasn't much to talk about because what happened in that game, everybody else thought we were up 21-0. I know us. We don't do well being up 21-0. We've never been up 21-0 all year. And we had a third quarter issue. So when you're up 21-0 at the half and you know you have a third quarter issue, then as the head coach, you go, this ain't good. we did better in tight games. That's why when they scored, we went back and scored. And so when you know your team, which I don't think a lot of people know their team, they just want to go out and call plays and do all this stuff. Man, I don't call plays. I don't scheme. I try to find out our team. And I knew our team. And so we talked about it, we dealt with it, and we moved forward, right? We don't harp on a lot of things, but it's clear. And when I go to Texas Roadhouse, man, I hear about it a lot. So I don't need to keep talking about it because others are talking about it. But the players that we brought back from that team, here's what's fun. When we got there, we were singing about getting to Atlanta. Now when you walk in our locker room, if you're not about getting to Atlanta and getting the confetti to fall on us, they put you out. I don't have to do anything anymore. And that's how we know the tide has turned at Prairie View A&M.
In today's landscape of college football, when you first got to Prairie View, I love you because you're outspoken. you call it like you see it. You keep it a buck.
Yeah.
And that can sometimes rub people the wrong way. But I think it lets you know what kind of kids are Prairie View type kids right away. In this landscape of college football, how do you kind of navigate recruiting with also finding the type of kids that you want? Not only from and I know high school football recruiting is very important for you guys, but also you have to work in the transfer portal and work those kind of things. How do you kind of balance that and find a Coach Jackson and a Prairie View type kid?
Yeah, man. One, just because you can play in the big whatever conference don't mean you can play at Prairie View A&M. Man, we're looking for truly dogmatic people, and there ain't a lot of those guys around, right? And you have to be able to make it in our program. It used to be you could just send your kid to Prairie View if he didn't have nothing else. That day is gone. But because I'm a Texan, because I'm from Houston, I can walk into high school and say that, and if the coach gets mad at me, he'll be okay. Yeah. And I don't really get all hemmed up on that, right? At our place, you have to be different, right? I think the people that understand and like honesty, everybody wants to keep it a buck, keep it 100 with me, Coach. The people that really want to be kept 100 with, they understand exactly where we're coming from. If you soft, you don't understand. And we probably don't want to recruit your school or your kid if that's what you're breeding, if you're breeding that type of person. But there's been a lot of great reception because they want to say some of the stuff that we've said, right? And so we just have great conversations, be honest with people. We're going to take 8 to 12 high school kids a year. I'm not going to keep my job with a bunch of 18-year-olds. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
Because the 18-year-old that we really want, he's getting paid X amount of dollars, and Prairie View A&M ain't going to do that. We want the kid that's from the state that went off, got his money, and wants to play football now because of whatever happened at the last place. That's who we're looking for. That's who we tell the high school coaches we're looking for. But those kids that are dogmatic, that do have a different mentality, that those 8 to 12 that we're looking for, if they graduate in December and can come in January, I'm all in. Yeah. The kid that comes in August can't play at Prairie View A&M anymore. It's just too different.
The one guy who is decidedly a Prairie View guy is Chase Bingman.
Yeah.
Your running back.
He a dog.
Let me tell you something.
I saw Chase Bingman as a junior in the playoffs against my alma mater, my Everman Bulldogs, and he ran. Coach Sedberry was like, this kid can play. And he ran for 180 and 3 touchdowns, and my feelings are hurt because we got eliminated. But I was like, this kid can absolutely ball.
Yeah.
This guy's unbelievable. I think maybe like the best kept secret in college football, what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
What is it about him that's different?
He's just built different. His whole mentality, man. The kid works his tail off. He doesn't say a lot. We're just now starting to get Chase to start talking, and we challenge him to talk because he's a good player. And people listen to good players, right? And so, man, he's one of those guys that he's all about doing the right thing by the program standard. But you don't find that. Chase Bingham not trying to do his own thing at all. He's trying to do our thing. And he was one of the guys as a high school kid that we took that was different, and he can play for us.
Coach, you mentioned, you're a Waltrip Ram, you're an H-Town guy.
Yeah.
So you know the landscape of Texas high school football, and you guys make high school football recruiting a priority. When you go out and you and your coaching staff are visiting the Texas high school coaches, and we're here at the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention, does it ever, when you talk to guys not from Texas and the level of high school coaching and the level of ball in this state, what do you tell guys not from Texas? Do they understand, or do they not understand until they're actually in it?
A lot of them don't understand until they're here. I came from Georgia, and I used to tell those guys in Georgia, you guys think you're doing something. They don't have this in the state of Georgia. They got some indoors, but they don't have the coaches not having to coach science, English, and math. This is some things that they don't have. This place is different. This state is different. And I think that's why we've been able to come into Prairie View and understand what we're getting ourselves into and not taking a year to have to transition and figure it out. And our coaches that we brought with us, they understand it as well. The state of Texas plays high school football a lot differently than anywhere else in the country, and I'm proud to be a Texan. I sleep in Waltrip shorts. That's how Waltrip I am.
There you go. I remember Waltrip when I was in high school, they won a state championship in basketball.
We did. I was there.
Cedric Taylor, right?
I had 5 fouls.
Yeah.
I was a freshman. I got that same UIL middle.
Were you the enforcer?
I had 5 fouls, and I intended to use every last one of them.
Listen, he's in the box score. You know what I mean?
You got in the box, right?
That's it.
That state championship game box score.
All right, last question for you, Coach. I know you're busy. You've been pulled in a bunch of different directions. We're here in Houston. A lot of folks from out of town coming down here to Houston.
Yeah.
People are going to be looking for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
People are going to be looking for somewhere. Give us some recommendations.
Coach Jackson recommendation.
Man, I went to B&B Butcher's last night. It's a steakhouse. I might go back tonight.
That good, huh?
I might go back tonight, man. It was that good. Man, there's a lot of – I'm from the north side.
Yeah.
So I got to get all the way back to tomorrow I'm going to Burns Barbecue over in the Center Acres Homes, man. And so some of the places, just call me. Just have folks call me, and you can go. I go to lunch every day from 12 to 1:30.
There you go.
I think that's my time to shine.
Houston is a great food town, and if we stick around here too long, I'll gain about 10 pounds because
That's right.
If you can throw a rock and find a good place to eat.
20 pounds with me, man.
Tremaine Jackson, he's the head coach of the SWAC champion Prairie View A&M Panthers. Coach, we so appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for sharing some insights with us, and we are looking forward to watching you guys get confetti dumped on you.
Appreciate you guys,
Atlanta. How about
Thanks,
that?
Coach. Appreciate it.
Go Panthers.
There goes Tremaine Jackson, head coach, Prairie View A&M. Coach, appreciate you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I mean, look, said he was going to do it, and he did it. You know what I mean?
And listen, when
about
Coach
it,
Jackson first got hired, I was like, this is the hire for Prairie View, the home run hire, because I saw what he did at Valdosta State there in Georgia, and I knew having a Texas guy at Prairie View, and you can just see it talking to high school coaches, the staff at Prairie View, they're out and about, that they're making themselves known on the recruiting circuit, and then the most important thing is they're winning games in the fall.
Yes.
They're winning games. People are noticing they're conference champs. And when you win a championship, people talk about you.
And they're playing a fun brand of football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're playing a fun brand of football. You will enjoy watching Prairie.
They're a fun
football.
team to watch.
They're a fun team
I
to watch.
watched their game against ETRGV last year. Great football game. The level of football they're playing, it's a different level, and that's why they're winning conference championships now.
Where it's Texas football today here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Greg Tepper and Matt Stepp with you up until probably a little after 2 o'clock.
2-ish.
Yeah.
And then we'll be looking for a place to eat.
Just hang around.
Just hang with us.
Another guy who slept in his own bed last night. Little home field advantage. A guy we've spent a lot of the offseason talking with for various reasons.
Yeah, different reasons, yeah.
He is the head coach of the Richmond Randle Lions. It is Coach Brian Randle, the winningest coach in Randle history. That's right. Yeah,
You're a journalist, and that's a fact.
That's a fact. The winningest coach in Randle history.
Sure, right. I'm gonna take it.
Coach, how's the offseason been for y'all?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Just work. Graduated a bunch of seniors. A couple coaches got head coaching jobs, so it kind of put us back in the same situation we were in the year before. But we're excited about the challenge and ready for the year.
I want to go back to last year, and as defending champs, you guys go back to AT&T Stadium, come up short against South Oak Cliff.
Yes, sir.
Everything's new at Randle. Like, everything is new. All these are the first. You guys are making history every time you go out there and do something, just because you're such a young program. This feels like, in my perspective, kind of one of the first times you guys have really just been, faced that kind of adversity and coming off of a loss like that. Yeah. How has your team kind of processed that?
I mean, we started out, we were 4-6, 11-2, 16-0, 15-1. So we face adversity. Now, it feels like a lot like when we lost to Huntsville the second time is what it feels like. So we got a chip on our shoulder. So the boys are ready and the boys are focused. The coaches are more focused than ever because you got to get your lick back ultimately, and that's the biggest thing.
I mean, the last time you guys lost a game, you followed it up with a state championship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're just going by history.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
hoping history repeats itself
exactly
that
right.
way, right?
Yeah.
God willing.
Yeah. You mentioned getting your lick back, and you're not going to have to wait long to get your lick back, as we had a guy in this seat. You're playing on his home field, Coach Tremaine Jackson, as you guys will a state championship game rematch in the season opener. against South Oak Cliff. They're at Prairie View,
Yeah.
and obviously the stakes are a little bit different because it's a non-district football game.
Right.
So how do you balance? Obviously, you want to win the game, and you want to get a. Do you talk about revenge at all with the kids, and that, or is it just, hey, this is a really good football team, and we want to beat them, but we also want to get ready for district play?
We want to get ready for district play. Obviously, you want to beat them. I mean, you're
not going out there to hang out, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And you darn sure don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself, because SOC does a tremendous job. They do a great job coaching. They have outstanding players, but we're not bad either. And the biggest thing is just go out here and just play ball, Randle football, be creative, have fun. Last season, we didn't have that much fun. We didn't have fun, guys. Now because it's almost like a relief. Like after every win, we're like, whew, that one. Then we're up to the next one. It just wasn't. We did not have the fun we had in the year we went 16-0 in 2024. So the whole thing is get back to having fun, get back to our core values, and just go out here and be creative, have a good time, and win a bunch of football games.
We're going to talk a little bit about your offense and a couple players in particular. I'll look up their names. I don't really remember it off the top of my head.
I can't remember either.
When you take a look at this team, this 2026 team, do you have a feeling quite yet on how they might be different from these past couple of Randle teams?
I think our offensive line is going to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage a little more. I think that this will probably be the best offensive line we've had since we've been at Randle, and we've got a very, very scary back there. So
we've heard.
When you have an O-line, when you finally have an O-line, because really and truly the year we won it, if you look at some of our guys, I'm going to talk about Big E. Big E was 5'6", 5'7". God bless him, but he was like a little bulldog and just wouldn't stop fighting. Little bitty guy. So Landon hadn't had the same kind of offensive lines that some of the other schools have had. So you get that kid behind some big old giant jokers. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
You talk about Landon, and obviously he's on the cover of the magazine. He's gotten a lot of accolades. You get to see, and we see Landon, the football player, and we see on social media all the stuff, and people talk about him. When you're that good of a football player, people like to talk about him all the time. You get to know Landon, the high school kid, because I think in this world we have, we put these kids on a pedestal, and we forget sometimes they're just kids.
Just kids.
And he's just a kid. Tell us the kind of kid. I know what you're going to say, but for the people out there, what kind of kid is Landon Williams Callis?
I've known that kid since he was in the 5th grade. He's got such an old soul. He's a genuine human being and a great person. And this is the thing. Like, you know how some people get all the accolades or whatnot, and they're kind of a turd a little bit.
Yeah. They're hard to coach, right?
Yeah, not this kid. Yeah. Like Landon, yes sir, no sir, smile at you. Like even when he's frustrated, he'll get mad at you and kind of give you that look, and then he'll understand, because we might be up big, and I want to take him out of the game. Well, the kid's only touched the ball six times, and he wants his carries. Well, Landon, we're up 28 points. What happens if something happens to you? I'll be the dumbest coach in America, and I can't be the dumbest coach in America.
That's something that's really interesting. And if you read the feature in Dave Campbell's Texas Football, Carter Yates really illustrates
Carter
it well.
did a great job with that article.
And I think it's really interesting. Coach, you got, in my estimation, the best back in America.
Yeah.
You can give him the ball 50 times a game.
If you wanted to, yeah.
And things would probably go pretty well.
Yep.
But you mentioned in the article kind of the responsibility you feel of making sure that, that this kid is able to like, how do you balance, like, your own desire to go out there and win ball games with also making sure that, this kid has the kind of future that he could have?
Right. Well, we don't get in this business for us. We get in it to help kids. That's the most important thing. And that kid, his freshman year, 10 to 15 carries. That was it. Then his sophomore year, 15 to 20. Junior year, 20, 25, and now in a tight spot, he might have a couple more carries, But the biggest thing was to make sure when he goes to college, he has tread on those tires. Landon's going to play in the NFL. Landon's going to play football as long as he wants to play football. He's not the tallest kid, so he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Super strong, super fast, and I didn't want him to take those beatings, especially as a freshman, because he's so fast. And it'd be funny because sometimes coaches will get frustrated about some things because he's got such an old soul. You think he's older than what he is. I said, guys, the boy's 14. What were you doing when you were 14? I know Nick Saban didn't offer you a scholarship at 14. So, and he's taken all that with such grace, man. And it's just, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss that baby.
Let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. And I think obviously when you won your state championship 2 years ago, obviously Landon and the offense, Keelan Sweeney, those guys did a great job. But I thought the key to the state championship game
Absolutely.
was your defense and how well they played in that season. I thought, overall probably a little bit of a step back last year. What's the defense looking like this year? If you guys are going to have the success you want to have, what's got to go right for the Randle Lions defense in 2026?
The defensive line's going to have to perform. Defensive line's going to have to perform. We got 7 guys coming back. You got Juju at safety. We got Patrick Oliver at corner. He got a couple Division I scholarships.
He committed to UTEP recently, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir. So he can play a little bit, but he's going to play both sides of the ball. We're going to have some challenges this year, but that's the greatest thing about this job is that the challenges make it fun. They make it fun, and I was telling my coaches, we're going to see what kind of coaches we are because we're not going to have the same stable we've had in the past. So the guys are going to have to play both ways, both sides of the ball. We're going to have to get creative because you got to play Coach Todd and Sock. I mean, it's right out the gate, and that joker there, them jokers is something else. That's all I'm going to say. It's a completely different beast.
And that non-district schedule, obviously South Oak Cliff goes without saying, but who else do you have lined up in non-district? Because then you guys are also moving up to Division I.
Yeah.
So you've got teams like Angleton, Iowa Colony's moving up with you guys. So who do you have in non-district aside from week 1 against Sock?
Then we'll play Westfield, and they have a great
Coach Black's got
line.
their defense is going to be really good.
Very, very sick, and it's by design. We just want to make sure we get out of there injury free. But when you play a Sock and you play at Westfield, who else in our districts?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking anybody in our district, so I'm not giving anybody any kind of bulletin board material. I'm not knocking anybody.
They're going to give you the looks that you need, right?
Exactly. Who else in our district is going to play Sock in Westfield?
Because and certainly you know more ball than I do, but correct me if I'm wrong. The whole point of playing these games is you want people to show you where you got to get better. Like they want to expose. You want to be exposed in those couple of games.
Yes, sir.
And who better than programs like that that can do that?
Better to be exposed in September than in November, right?
Exactly.
It's Brian Randle, head coach of the Randle Lions here on Texas Football Today. When we went down for the cover shoot with Landon, you were super helpful and really gracious with your time and your facilities. It was such an unbelievable experience, and we're really grateful for you. You were also running practice, and Matt Stepp, I don't know if you weren't there.
No, I
so
wasn't
you've
there.
never seen.
I was at President Business Job.
You've never seen a Brian Randle led practice.
I have an idea of how a Coach Brian Randle practice is led.
Let me tell you something.
Intensity?
Intensity is the word. I have to imagine that I didn't happen to stumble on some sort of strange moment where you were happening to be intense that moment. Is that just a core value of what you guys are about?
Everything. That's about life. It's funny because I'm completely blind in my right eye. Right, I lost vision. So I tell my boys all the time when they come with excuses, when they give me excuses and stuff, like we're not allowed excuses. I'm not trying to hear it. And they come, I say, how many eyes you got? 2. How many hands you got? 2. How many feet? All right, you're doing better than most people. I was about to say a bad word.
Get the heck out there, right?
Get yourself out there and let's take care of business. And that's what you got to be, grit. I mean, we live in America. We live in a capitalist society. So you have to get out there and you've got to work in order to eat. And sometimes you have to, we got to poke the right, it's just a little different.
Now, Coach, you also have a very fun thing outside of football. You do some TikToks, and you have a lot of fun with it. Where did that idea come from and the creativity? And I think a lot of coaches would enjoy following your TikToks because there's a lot of things that you have in your TikTok that I think a lot of coaches can relate to in dealing with parents, dealing with administrators, dealing with college coaches, all the things that you guys have to deal with outside of trying to win football games. That's a lot. How did you get started on that, and then what's that been like?
We started making those videos during COVID because we couldn't interact with the people or whatever, and I had started a new job over there at Katie May Creek, and I wanted the kids to get to know who we are, so we'd make those different videos, but everything is true. Like, we've had parents call us up there and tell us how sorry we are. Y'all sorry. Y'all blanking sorry. I mean, it's sorry. That's coaches. That's a true story. I tell you ain't worth a poop. But coaching, this profession is the only profession that everybody else knows more about the coach. How many times you tell your dentist
sports, right? You don't go to the guy who's a plumber and tell him how to change a pipe, right?
Exactly. So it's fun.
All right, finally, Coach, I do want to make sure we acknowledge that you're actually here not just to have fun, but you're here working.
You're working.
On behalf of THSCA.
Yes, sir.
As a director, this is I'm curious what this week is like for you. Now, obviously, you're trying to get better. You're doing all the normal coaching stuff, school, but with your THSCA responsibilities, what's this week like for you?
What Joe Joe Martin and Glenn West, they run a tight ship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yes.
we come up Saturday. We don't leave till Wednesday. So we kind of help, and it's so organized, and that's the thing. And it's funny because we're 28,000 strong. Our membership, we're 28,182.
Okay.
You know, so that's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of people, and that's what you got to prepare for. So it's very, very detail-oriented, but they're all old ball coaches, and they pay attention to the details. So we just work, and you don't get a lot of sleep. You ain't getting much sleep because you try to go hang out. Well, we're up here at 6:30 for a meeting to get ready to start passing out badges to everybody. But
A lot of coffee.
Yes, absolutely. But it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Those are great guys to work for.
Randle, he's the head coach of Randle Lions, moving up to 5A Division I. Excited to see what they do this year. Coach, we so appreciate your time. And again, thank you so much for all your help putting together. People don't know this, but like when your player's on the cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, like I've been blowing up this dude's phone for like months trying to get stuff
I'm
organized.
sorry, Coach. I'm sorry.
And it's
Tepper's
you
kind
know,
of a pain in the butt.
Oh my
I know.
gosh, absolutely. But we really appreciate all your help in helping to make that happen because it was such a special cover for us to help put together to spotlight a remarkable young man. So we appreciate you.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. Coach, we appreciate your time, my friend.
I appreciate everything you guys do for Texas high school football. Seriously, because I mean, just sports in general, because it deserves to be coverage. It deserves it, and you guys you do outstanding jobs.
They pay us to watch football, and we're undefeated.
Living
Amen to that.
Living the
And
dream.
we're undefeated.
There it
Living
goes.
the dream.
Thanks, Coach. Randle, head coach of the Randle Lions, is here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. They're moving up to 5A D1.
Yep. New district.
New district.
Region 3 and 5A Division I is going to be a lot of fun because you got Randle, you got Iowa Colony, you got Angleton. And then over in District 9, you got LaPorte, Port Arthur Memorial. The Beaumont schools are both going to be really improved this year. Like, this is going to be a fun. And then 12 5A Division I, Pflugerville Weiss, and that just, man.
Do you think he feels bad about what he's done to Iowa Colony?
No.
So if you guys don't know this, Iowa Colony over the last few years is literally undefeated against teams that are not named Richmond Randle.
They're undefeated. They're 0-4 against Randle and 24 against everybody else.
It's unbelievable. Excited to see what they do in 5A Division I. We're here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. We're here all the way until 2. By the way, we're doing this tomorrow too.
We are here tomorrow.
We got more coaches that are going to be swinging by tomorrow. We got a full slate. You can see all the guests on our socials and stuff like that.
We just have a championship lineup coming through here. We had a conference champion in the SWAC just now. We had a state champion in 2024 sitting in our chair, and now we have a 3-time state champion joining us.
A 3-time state champ. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, 5 consecutive state championship appearances, 3 titles in that run, Coach Jason Todd. Coach, I'm sure you get tired of being introduced as state champion head coach.
It feels good.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, listen. You know, are you wearing your rings today, or
yeah, I'm wearing one of them today, just the new.
Now I saw Gish earlier, and he had I think two of them on, and they were blinding me, Coach.
Yeah, they're doing overkill.
Just one, right? One's good enough.
Yeah, for me, yes, sir.
And is this the only time you wear it? You keep those things locked up pretty tight, right?
Yeah, they actually just sit on my desk at home most of the 90% of the time.
Coach, people talk about I think my mic is dying. The 3 state championships.
Yeah.
There's also the 5 consecutive state championship of game appearances. If you had said 10 years ago, hey, by the way, a team from Dallas ISD is going to make 5 consecutive state championships, Step would have had me committed. It would have.
Agree.
How often do you take a step back and just like? I know, obviously, you're charged forward and you're only as good as what you're doing next. But how often do you take a step back and just kind of soak in what you guys have been able to build there on the South Side?
Kind of every once in a while,
Yeah.
you know, it may be a moment where I sit back and reflect. You know, I was actually old enough to actually see Lake Travis when they actually won 5 in a row, you know, and Kyler Murray when he was able to win 3. So, you know, I really want to get to 6 because nobody's ever done that in the state of Texas. And then we get to the 6th game, you know, we'll let the cards fall where they may. And Lamarck also had a great run also.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
Lamarck had a great run.
Yeah, I think they may have went to 6 straight.
I think they were 3-3, right?
Yeah.
They lost. They beat Denison and then lost. They
may have been 2-4.
Yes, it was a crazy run. And on that same token, you know, you win state in 2021, 2022. and then you get back to that top of that mountain, but you fall a little short to P&G and Randle.
Yes.
This year, when you win the state championship, did you give yourself a little bit more time to smell the flowers, to enjoy it? Because you saw the heartbreak losing 2 years in a row. Did you give yourself a little time to maybe enjoy it just a little bit more this year?
Probably not, because I knew it would already be snowballing into the next year. And that's the one thing about coaching. You judge year to year. So, you can be great for 5 years straight, and then you can be the dumbest guy in the world in year 6.
Well, it's like, Coach Randle was talking about, you get those parents, you lose one game, and people are calling you, telling you how dumb you are.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the business, right?
Yeah, it's probably the only profession that everybody's an expert in, but nobody, it's not even about the money. It's about the actual job you do that everybody wants to do.
Everybody thinks they know sports, and especially football, right?
Yeah, everybody can call the right play and make a kid do what they want them to do.
Coach, I want to ask you a lot about your 2026 team, but I also want to ask you about some guys who are not on your team right now.
Yeah.
One of the things you guys are going through right now that actually, you haven't really had to deal with all that much, coach turnover.
Yes.
Kyle Ward leaving to go join the staff there at SMU.
Yes.
Group of you guys have a really talented assistants ready to promote. How do you guys go into this? Coach Ward did an outstanding job. How do you go about replacing him and not just what the X's and O's, but also the kind of leadership that he showed?
The biggest thing, it's kind of been a plan that's been going on for years. What's different in our situation is a lot of people think, this will be Coach Spencer's first time calling a football game. When actually him and Coach Cranston Jones been calling games and playoff games, non-district games, for the last 3 or 4 years. So we're well prepared for that. I think the biggest effect we're probably going to have is some of the Ward's off the field, internal things that he was really good at, as far as saying some things at certain times that made people uncomfortable and things like that. I think the football part will be fine, but the biggest thing I could always say is that it's a resource we still have. It's not like he's flew across the country. If those guys got some questions or I have some questions, it ain't nothing but a phone call or a short drive to university drive to SMU.
Yeah, he hasn't big time me yet. If I text Ward, he still texts me.
Yeah.
I think he's on an island somewhere.
Yeah,
though.
he's on his carnival venture or something like that.
Yeah, he's on an island right now. Now, one thing that I think I like about your football team, and obviously you graduated a really, really good group of seniors. That group was special, and you got to replace those guys. But you've got on offense, you got your guy back and your quarterback, Dunny Williams.
Yes.
I saw him as a junior in 7-on-7 and saw him grow up and winning that quarterback battle job. Now he's a senior. He's a veteran.
Yes.
That's got to at least help you sleep at night a little bit easier to know that you have your leader back on offense.
Yeah. It always gives us a chance. What I'm trying to get across to him right now is to understand now he's in a different role. Well, now he's the old veteran, and he's got to help these younger guys grow up around him. And he's got to understand every situation not going to be perfect. It's going to be some hard times, but his leadership is what it's really about right now. It's him being a good leader and understand when things not going good, he's the guy that got to rally, and when we need a kick in the butt, he's the one that got to get that kick in the butt.
It's the latest in a long line of great quarterbacks, and there's another guy at SMU that I know you're pretty familiar with, and Kevin Jennings, and now they're launching a big Heisman campaign for him, a well-deserved Heisman campaign. How much, he was obviously instrumental in that first state championship and what you guys were able to do. What is it like for you to watch him and flourish and do what he's doing at SMU?
The biggest thing is he found a college coach that stood on the table and saw something in him and gave him opportunity, and he took a chance that a lot of people wouldn't have took, and that's probably the biggest thing I take from it, is that you have to have somebody actually believe in you, and Coach Rhett, he actually believed and saw something in him, and it's actually panned out, because that's not an easy situation, especially when it came down to him and Preston Stone, and that's a homegrown kid right there. But I can say it all paid out in the end, but he's a humble kid. That's the best thing I can say about Kev. If he was a kid with ego and things like that played, it wouldn't have been a success, but he's naturally a humble, different type of kid.
Coach, we were talking to Coach Randle earlier, and we had Coach Jackson on before that. You guys are opening the season up at Prairie View against Richmond Randle in a great football game. Obviously you guys played in the state championship the last 2 years. It's a fun game. It's a lot of talent. How important was it? Is this hard to say because you're a Texas Southern guy?
Yeah.
But you're playing a game at Prairie View. How excited are you to have that opportunity to play at that venue with the history of Prairie View and the PVIL and the history of Prairie View A&M football, getting to be a part of that?
It's a real big honor, and that's one of the things we were really pushing it for, because a lot of people and a lot of our kids and young coaches, they don't understand the history of Texas high school football. They think it was always a UIL from the beginning, and it was inclusive to all. So I just want to kind of pay some homage back to our roots some too, and also understand we just try to grow the game, but also bring awareness of the past of the game also.
And I know you've wanted to play at you've wanted to play a couple of playoff games at Prairie View. How grateful are you that Prairie View is open to hosting high school football games and being able to have that opportunity? Because I know that before Coach Jackson got there, they really weren't interested in hosting high school games. It's got to be a nice thing to have them wanting to do that. Yeah,
Coach Jackson was actually great. The administration, I don't know, so I kind of lived with Coach Randle and Coach, I think Mr. Nevins down there as a superintendent or whatever, and they took care of it. So, hey, we just said we're going to get on the bus and show up. That's the big thing for us.
Traveling's not a big deal for y'all. You guys have gone to Nacogdoches and played P&G. Yes. You've gone down to Houston and played North Shore. It's different getting on a bus and going to play out of town, right?
Yeah, it is. It kind of gives you some bonding with the kids. You kind of see kids focus and things like that. It also prepares us for the playoffs. Because the big thing I like to do is I don't want to go get on a bus for a long trip the first time we're in the playoffs and you don't know how kids react. You got to police them a little bit different and things like that. But these kids understand the culture. They understand what we're playing for at South Oak Cliff, and it's bigger than the individual. It's a whole community concept. So we're going to go down there and get ready to compete.
Now, Coach, you are one of the things, if you're a good fit, follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Say that.
You don't mince words.
You don't mince words. My question, you recently, with some of the decisions that came down from the state executive committee from the UI, you've been outspoken that there needs to be some reforms in training. Can you lay out kind of your thoughts on the matter and kind of where we stand and where you'd like to see the UIL go?
The biggest thing I say, number one, I'm a research guy.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come up with different things and different cases, I like to go back to when the case originally started.
Mm-hmm.
And, ain't nothing wrong with seeking some knowledge. My biggest thing is that I think it's not enough diversity in how things are done because there's so many one-town schools. But then I'm in a district where it's 22 high schools.
Mm-hmm.
So every rule can't be the same. And my biggest thing, I would just like to see when a kid enters 9th grade, that if they transfer once they enter the 9th grade, then the PAPF process starts. Because a lot of people blow the numbers out of proportion because in South Oak Cliff, we've been following the district policy in Dallas ISD where any kid that didn't attend our feeder schools. But what people don't know is it's 7 charter schools around South Oak Cliff, multiple other high schools around South Oak Cliff, and that's not the same as if I was in the Salina or if I was in Allen or, if I was in different places like that where it's only a one-school town. So our numbers are inflated because we have to do a PAPF on every 8th grader that didn't attend the 2 schools to feed in the South.
Because you do a PAPF before they're even in high school, right? Because you have to, if they don't come from your feeder, you have to do a PAPF in 8th grade. So
yes.
There's not, if you don't have that context to that number, you just see a number and you don't know the context behind it.
Yeah, so you like South Oak Cliff leads the state in PAPS, but you don't know the people in the community hadn't wanted their kids to go to the middle schools in our community. They were like, we're going to bring them back for high school. Then there's so many different magnet programs, P-Tech programs, but nobody ever complains about Booker T. Washington, the #1 art school in America that has people from all over the city going to that school.
Sure.
But we regulate it to just a football thing, and I think a lot of people don't understand my point of where I'm coming from. There's nothing wrong in the one-horse town. I would probably have a different view if I was there. But I don't actually know who my 9th graders are until enrollment day or when summer workouts start.
Jason Todd, head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, back on the field, one of the guys that I know you're excited to have back is Brian Swanson.
Yes.
I don't have to convince
Super
you.
team. Whataburger super team.
Whataburger super teamer. I don't have to convince you to get excited about an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You've had some real good offensive linemen. Where does he stack up in the pantheon of great South Oak Cliff offensive linemen?
He's the best offensive lineman prospect I've ever been around as a coach.
Oh, wow.
From early stages, some of the things that we saw him doing, and then it kind of really, he grew into his own this past year, even though he was damn good as a sophomore. If he keeps his head on right, there's no doubt that he'll be in the NFL one day.
Talk about your defense a little bit. The death row defense is always one of the best in the state, and the moniker sticks, and I think the moniker fits how you guys play. You guys play a very physical, violent brand of football, which is what you want to play. You being a defensive guy coming up, but you lost a lot of good seniors. Now you have a guy at safety that I really like, and Isaiah Udom.
Yes.
Tell us what are some areas where some young guys maybe can still win some jobs. Some question marks you may have on your depth chart.
Well, we still got a competition at the cornerback spots, but it's veteran guys, but nobody's ever been that man on that island before. And also at the defensive end spot, we got some guys that's battling out, probably about a group of 5 or 6 guys that going into camp, we're still trying to debate on who's going to be who. So we're kind of just looking for some guys to stand out, but the good part about our defense is the middle of our defense is back. From the back end, and everything has to go through them no matter what happens in the front. We bring it back to our main D tackles, JD and Big Spencer, and then we got our middle linebacker back who was thrust into a big
Cody,
role
right?
last year. Yeah, Cody. So the middle of our defense is fine. The good thing with us, I know we know how to scheme and take away some of our weaknesses, but the big thing about, like week 1, if we leave a crease, we're going to be chasing them all the way back to
that number 1
Richmond.
for Randle is pretty special, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somehow I think he'll find, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Yeah, he will.
All right, Coach, I do want to ask you about coming here to coaching school. You've been coming to coaching school for years and years and years. How has your experience at coaching school changed since you guys started winning go win 3 state championships, 5 title games in a row? How's your experience at coaching school different?
I would probably say the biggest change is that how other people view you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go to 5 state games, you win 3 times. You realize the impact you may have on other people that you myself. I don't even.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a regular guy. But what I'm saying, it's good to inspire people. And like I tell any coach I meet, when they say I want to be like you, I'm like, nah, be better than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be better than predecessors that I had that came before me. So, my thing is just to push the standard high. But at the same time, I'm also going to help the next man get above me at the end of the day.
You're a celebrity around here.
Yeah, it looks like it sometimes. That can be good or bad. I think I may have to start bringing – I'm getting to the point now I'm finna be 50. I got to start bringing my girlfriend to the coach school with me now and stuff like that,
He's Jason Todd. He's the head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Appreciate you hopping on with us and looking forward to not just week 1 but watching your Golden Bears all year.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'll see you week 3 against North Shore.
Okay, and tell Carter Yates we're going to start debating some of these top 10.
Yeah, Coach has been on the top 10 list.
Yeah,
Coach has been on Carter's
Some
butt
of them,
about it.
yeah. Listen, I just, that's his opinion. I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
The opinion of Carter Yates. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely. There he goes. Jason Todd, head coach.
State champion head coach.
State champion head coach.
We got another state champion head coach.
Yep. Another state champion head coach. We're here on the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Excited to see South Oak Cliff. Obviously 5 title games in a row.
Sure. 80 football games in 5 years. That's a lot of football games.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, that's a lot of ball games. They've won a lot of ball games. We will excited to see what they do. They're going to be different. I think they're going to be different because I think they got to find some running backs, but at the same time,
yeah, offensive skill I think is a big other than that quarterback,
which is strange, right?
But at running back, receiver, they got to replace a lot of playmakers.
Yes.
But it's as a coach, you feel good that you've got experience in the offensive line and you got a guy at quarterback back.
Speaking of playmakers, we've got one sitting in our chair right now, although now he's calling plays instead of
dialing it up.
Exactly right. We are pleased to be joined by the new head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks, Coach Casey Dick. Coach, welcome back. Hey, VNA, can we turn on Coach's mic?
Coach Mike.
There we go. There we go. Coach, we appreciate welcome back to Texas. It's good to have you back.
It's been awesome to be back. It's been obviously a whirlwind since we got back, driving back and forth for a while, but it's been a great experience to be back and back with you guys in the state of Texas for sure.
You come back to Texas after a really successful run there in Arkansas, and this is a job there at Heath that there are a number of jobs open this offseason. What is it about? We saw the press conference and they all said nice things about you. This, that, and the other. They said, well, you're such a good fit for Heath. But I want to take that question and flip it. Why was Heath such a good fit for you and your family?
I think when you look at Heath and obviously everything that it has to offer, number one, there's aligned vision at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's very, very important to any coach that's going into a new school. obviously the administration plays a huge role. Coaches will win games, and everybody says administration wins championships, and that's something that's unique, and that's what you have to look for as far as that. And Dr. V, our superintendent in Rockwall, is is an old football coach, so he gets it. He has a great understanding. Our athletic director, Coach Priest, is a guy that loves to continue to push people, and gives us the tools that we need or that we see fit. And then our high school principal's the same way. Todd Bradford does a great job of letting us hire coaches and bring guys in that are really, number one, like I told him the first day, we're going to hire great coaches that take care of kids. And so those are all the things that really kind of just drew me to Heath. And then obviously the community, the kids, it's a great place to raise a family, and there's just lots of opportunities there for sure.
Now, when's the last? This is probably your first coaching school in several years. When's the last time you?
13 years ago.
How much has the convention? When you walked in, you were like, "Holy crap!"
It did. I literally walked in and I was like, "Yeah, this thing's grown a little bit since I think my last one was 2013 or 14."
It's being a part of the Texas High School Coaches Association. I know it's important to you, and being a guy who played for Coach Martin.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of that here in a little while. But just the convention as a whole, just why if you were talking to a young coach.
Yeah.
When you were a young coach at one point, you joined the association. Why is it important to be a part of the association and be involved?
Yeah, it's number one, it's a big fraternity. This whole thing's a relationship-driven business, and I think that's the biggest thing that you can look at from here when you come and you're a part of an organization like this. It's obviously, it's got a great leader in Coach Martin and Coach Polk, and the things that his staff and everybody are able to do. That whole thing just really flourishes. The opportunities that you have, whether you're meeting people or sitting down and talking with people and really involving and picking their brain, and just exchanging ideas helps you grow, which is something that coaches want to continually do to be a lifelong learner. And always just steal a nugget here and there from everybody to be able to take back to your program and implement it with those guys for sure.
You won a state championship there at Fayetteville over in Arkansas, and so obviously you've coached at the highest level and you've won at the highest level. I'm curious what you see as maybe the differences between what you were doing in Arkansas and what you're going to be doing in Texas, or is it just ball is ball and we're going to get out there and roll it out?
Football is football, but there's different aspects of every school, every community, everywhere that you go that are a little bit different. Kids are kids. I love being around kids. That's why we're in the business, and so these kids at Heath are really just special. They have a blue collar work ethic. They show up. They work their butt off when they get in there. So it's just been a great experience as far as that goes. Now there's obviously some, the sheer number of kids is probably a little bit bigger than what we had. At Fayetteville, I think we had 220 kids, 9 through 12, and we have about 315 at Heath. So, you take some of those things and exchange them, but for the most part, it's been a good transition, been a very easy, seamless transition.
Now, a lot of people will know you as former Allen quarterback, Casey Dick there. And
that's how we
that's how we refer to you.
Like we had to catch up and be like, I guess it's coaching.
Okay. but I think people get a mentality of they think of coaches who were quarterbacks, and they think, wearing a visor, slinging it around, throwing it 50 times a game, soft football teams. You were anything but a soft player, even though you played a certain grit and a certain mentality. Do you feel like, is that how you want your teams to play, like tough, hard-nosed football teams? It's kind of funny to say, but like from a quarterback, but like physical, hit you football teams.
That's the number one thing. I think our defensive coordinator is standing over there.
He's over there shaking his head like,
he's over there shaking his head, and that's one of the things that I'm probably a little bit different on. Is the first day we went out to practice, I believe in toughness. Our kids have to be tough. We have to tackle. We have to do things a certain way, and this is a physical game at the end of the day. And so it was a little bit of an adjustment for our kids at the beginning of spring, from the standpoint of we went out there and every day that we practiced, we tackled. And so those are the things that are going to carry over. That's a certain mentality that you have to build and that you have to establish within kids. But they did a great job of really taking that, and we still got work to do in that area. But it is, it's a little bit of an adjustment, and I believe that physical standpoint, that mentality, and all those things, not just trickles down from the head coach, but obviously it goes to the kids. Whether you play wide receiver or DB or offensive lineman or quarterback, or at the end of the day, you have to be tough to play this game, and you got to play it a certain way, and you got to play it with a lot of effort. So that was one of the main things that we tried to instill at Heath once we started spring ball.
Casey Dick, head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks, join us here on Texas Football Today. When you take a look at the roster that you're inheriting, this is a team, you're not taking over a program that is a rebuild. You know, you're not taking over some team that was 0-10 and boy, they're just directionless. When you take a look at the roster that you're inheriting, what has you excited about the guys that you're going to get to roll out there on Friday nights?
I think number one, we have great leaders. Carter Zahman, Prosper Neal, Carson Adams, Landon Foster, Colton Loffrey, I believe are 5 or 6 of the better leaders I've seen in high school football in almost 20 years. And really with Carter and Prosper and Carson, those guys really drive our football team. And I tell everybody all the time, it's having a coach-led team is good, but having a player-led team is great. That's when the magic happens. And we fully believe when we get back and we have player-led workouts, like those guys are going to lead that workout, and it's going to go just as good as if we were there because, they have a really high expectation for where they wanted themselves, but really they have a really high expectation of as they wanted the whole team. And they are very vocal leaders. They show up there early. They're the last ones to leave. But they're also doing a lot of things outside of our facility to get our kids. And, like I said, those 3 or 4 guys have just been a pleasure to be around and have a really high standard of everything that they want to do.
Last year, we thought District 10-6A was one of the deepest districts in the state of Texas. Just top to bottom, the level of football in that district, the teams at the bottom of the district would be playoff teams in a lot of other districts. I know you've had a chance to go back and watch the games, all your district opponents and see what they looked like last year. What stands out to you when you look at your district opponents and the challenges that they're going to present to you guys in the fall?
Coach Fleener's standing right over there, so we'll start with him. He's our whole district does
we try not to listen to Fleener too much because it's hard. He's going to tell us how bad he's going to be this year.
I think the thing that really catches your mind when you dive into our district is there's a lot of explosive offenses, every single week, and you look at the scores and you look at what people are doing, and people are scoring 45 and 50 points almost every week. So I think you look at that and you're like, okay, there's obviously a lot of offensive talent and offensive playmakers, and one of the things I knew we had to do playing in this district was play great defense. I'm probably a reverse thinker being an offensive guy, as I believe, number one, toughness wins football games, and 2, defense wins championships. The opportunities that we've had when we were at Fayetteville to go play for and win the state championship, the team scored 20 points. And so, kind of our philosophy from that is if we can hold somebody to 20 points, we should win the football game. And if not, we didn't obviously do our job the way that they needed to do it. But, you look at the offensive line, the defensive lines, and, the athletic ability that a lot of our teams have. That's something that stands out in our district. From a defensive line standpoint, obviously, there's lots of guys, in our district. Obviously at North Forney, they've got some wide receivers and some linemen, even at Rockwall. And so Longview obviously kind of speaks for itself, and Coach King and the job that he does. And so there's lots of kids in our district that are going to have the ability to go play college football, lots of talent at a lot of different positions throughout our district to where it's going to make it a tough and fun week every single week.
And then you add in, I'm sure you can tell, you watch on tape, these are well-coached football teams as well. From a scheme standpoint, very sound. The level of coaching and the guys who are head coaches in this district have won a lot of football games, right?
A lot of football games for a long time. I think that's something that stands out to me. Coach Fleener just walked by, and then you got Shavers at North Forney.
We'll talk about him in a minute.
You got Coach King, who's obviously a legend, and so there's lots of guys in our district that have been very, very successful for quite a while.
I do want to ask you. We mentioned that this is a program that's not broken. This is not a program that needs to be torn down to the studs. Things are going pretty well at Heath. How do you, as a new coach, come in and balance taking something and being like, hey, things are pretty good, while also still putting your own stamp on the program? How do you balance?
You come in and you the first things we try to do is, one, really analyze, okay, what's working, and then what can we kind of shift and change to figure out, okay, to put our stamp on it. And the first thing was, really kind of the big stuff for me is we want to be a mentally tough, disciplined but hard-nosed football team. So we tried to implement that going through spring ball and being very physical and making that the number one priority really from that standpoint was we got to be great tacklers. We've got to be physical, and with being physical, you got to learn how to finish. And so that was probably the biggest things that we've had to do. And Coach Webb's obviously a Hall of Fame coach, so there's not. Yeah. It's like you said, it's not
no
broken.
Pressure.
He did an unbelievable job. He's a great person. He's a great coach. Obviously been very successful with the things that he's done. And if I was my first year as a head coach, I probably would have tried to do everything like Coach Webb. But obviously in those past things that you learn of being in the business for almost 20 years now, I can't be Coach Webb. I've got to go be myself and hire great coaches, let them go do great jobs, and really impact our kids.
Now, we talked about your district a little bit, and your district and I wrote a story about this when the final hire was made. Your district has one of the most unique things I've ever seen in Texas high school football, where you're coaching against two of your high school teammates, Coach Shavers there at North Forney, the head coach, and Coach Boone there at Mesquite Horn. Coach Boone was one of your wide receivers when you were there at Allen. So, and then I've talked to Coach Martin, and literally he was almost in tears talking about how proud he was of you guys. And I know when that week comes and you're playing Shavers, we were hanging out last night, and you and Shavers were giving each other the business a little bit. And I know when you play him on that Friday night, you're going to try to kick his butt, and he's going to try to kick your butt, and the same thing with Coach Boone. But when you look back at it, other than that, how special is that just to go against those guys? And will there be any pregame trash talk between the coaches, not the kids? Yeah. The kids are going to keep it classy. Will there be any pregame trash talk with you guys?
I'm sure there'll be a little conversation. I think that whole thing stems from, at young ages we knew we all wanted to be coaches, but really that whole thing goes down to Coach Martin and the impact that he had on us. And really be able to, number one, change our lives, but number two, be able to walk in here every day and try to be like him, just like he was. He had such a great impact on so many different kids with so many different opportunities that came from so many different backgrounds, and so we tried to take that and really have an impact on everybody that walks through our doors as well. And Coach Shavers and Coach Boone, we're all different, but at the end of the day, our background and beliefs and core values are all the same.
Finally, Coach, I do want to Casey Dick, head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks here. Coach, you recently had a birthday. I only know this because we were born one day apart. Actually, awesome. Exactly one day apart. So I know how old you turned because I know how old I turned.
We won't throw it out there.
We don't need to. It's not important.
Do you get any reps left in you? Can you go out there?
That's my question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My question is, speaking on behalf of men of a certain age, can you still get out there and spin it? You were a star quarterback at Allen. You're a star quarterback at Arkansas. Can you still get out there and spin
running any scout team? You running any scout team?
I've been known to get out there. When I was at Fayetteville, I ran the scout team. Number one, I ran the book and played scout team quarterback every week. And did that just so it'd give me something to do in the middle of practice, so I didn't have to turn around and yell at kids and do all that stuff. But no, I enjoy it because it puts me around the kids and lets me, really coach the kids in certain perspectives or things that I see. It gives me an opportunity to interact with the defense as well, which, being a head coach and people label you as an offensive guy, they're like, oh, you're always down there with the offense. Well, that gives me time to go down there and really, give them some things that I can see, whether it's from a DB or a safety or an outside linebacker, and kind of give them a different perspective just from being back there playing that position.
As the years go on, though, do you the next day when you wake up, are you feeling a little more sore the next day?
You got to take a little more ibuprofen.
Yeah. Go see the trainer. Is you telling the trainer to keep a little closer eye on you now, make sure you're good?
We're getting there.
He's Casey Dick. He's the new head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Congratulations on the new gig. We are really excited to watch your ball.
Welcome home.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
Coach, appreciate it.
Yep.
It's Casey Dick, head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks. Join us here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention. Thanks, Coach. Here in Houston. It is, we're rolling. We're an hour and a half in, and we're not even halfway done, believe it or not. We are going to take...
Time flies.
Time flies. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, another guy who knows a little something about winning a lot of football games. The head the Allen Eagles, Coach Lee, will join us after the...
In Texas, football starts long before kickoff. Early mornings, long days. At Huntington, we're here for it all. From preseason grind to Friday night lights, we look out for you. Huntington Bank.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Friday night football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a Hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Back here at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, THSCA Coaching School Spectacular, presented by our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission. We should certainly mention that.
Thank you to our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission.
We'll have more on them coming up here in a little bit. We just got done talking with the new head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks, Casey Dick, who is an Allen grad. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that. I watched him play in high school. He was a pretty good player.
Well, let's see if we can get some more intel on Allen.
Okay.
Let's go to the hot seat. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Allen Eagles, Coach Lee Wiginton. Coach, it's great to see you, my friend.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me here.
This is, I would like to know, you're a past president of the THSCA. Is the coaching school experience better, worse, the same as a past president as opposed to a current president? I'm curious the experience.
Your dance card's a little. Is it more full or less full?
You know, it's less full for sure. But it's the greatest thing about coaching school has always been seeing the people you don't see on a regular basis. So probably better in that. When you're in that president role, you're so much on the go and attending so many different things or introducing different functions, and you have a little bit more time just to connect now. So that's the part that's different and probably better, but it's all the same. It just keeps growing. Joe and Glenn and Brian and Libby, they just do such a phenomenal job of keeps growing it, and it gets better and better every year.
You get to deal with guys like us a little bit as well, so we appreciate you.
Well, he can't escape us regardless of his title.
That's right. That's right. Talking about that, when we had Coach Dick on just now, this is his first coaching school in 12 years.
Wow.
And when he walked in, he was like, it is so much bigger, and it's grown so much.
Yeah, it really has.
I think that's a testament to the leadership of the THSCA, and I think that the members of the THSCA making this a priority to be here and making this such a – I mean, I wouldn't miss this thing for the world.
Oh no,
not in the media,
No, and it's and you talk about making it important, keeping it important. There's so many school districts out there that are deprioritizing this time, right, and not funding it. So while the numbers are incredible, there's a lot that aren't able to come. But there's so many of these coaches that are here on their own dime. Right, and it just speaks to the value of the coaching school. Every sport out there, quality talks, quality instruction, the growth that's going on top of the obvious networking. Yeah.
All right, Coach, we're entering year 5 there of the Wiginton era in Allen. Win totals 7, then 9, then 13, then 14. So the arrow's pointing in the right direction. Is this the trajectory that when you took over this job, is this about the timeline you thought that you were going to be on? I know it's always hard to tell, but from a timeline perspective, are you guys right where you thought you guys were going to be?
Yeah, no, I would not say that at all. I would also say that I didn't give that any thought. When I went there, I started on June 6th.
I remember.
So it was a time, and it wasn't like I laid out a 5-year plan and said I want to be at this point in 5 years. It was getting there, and Allen had gone through, for Allen, a lot of change, right? You talk, Casey and all those guys that played there. While there were a few different head coaches, they were all the same. It was the same tree.
Yes, sir.
Right. So there was essentially no change. And then you go in the year before I get there, and they hire Chad, right? And you're like, okay, he's not part of this tree, but it's Chad Morse. I mean, he's coming. I mean, SEC head coming. Come on, well, what's to miss here? And then he's there a year, and then you bring in a guy from Midlothian Heritage, and you're like, okay, we got the Allen tree, we got SEC, and then we got this Lee Wiginton, so there was a lot of unbelief and uneasiness, So everything for me was and really still is just trying to create the greatest experience for those kids, especially that first summer, those kids, and getting them to their point of enjoying their high school career, but then just continuing to grow that and make it to where if you are an Allen Eagle, you're proud to be an Allen Eagle, and the thought of leaving that is devastating to you, right? The thought of moving out of Allen is something that you really can't comprehend because you are so proud to be an Allen Eagle because of the Casey Dix and because of all those guys that made the program what it is.
Allen is a unique program from a size standpoint. Obviously, it's a monster in a lot of ways. There's so many kids, and you're managing so much, and then sometimes it can get the best of you.
Yeah.
How have you? Because I'll say this as a compliment. You are the same guy to the media and to everybody else when you were at Midlo Heritage, when you were at Midlothian, when you were at Mahia. There than you are Allen. Was that something that you consciously thought about? Is I can't let this job be too big. It's still, and in the end, I'm still coaching kids. Yeah. I'm just coaching a lot more of them.
Yeah. No, consciously thought about it's you left out Bosqueville, you left out Comfort, right? But so I've been at almost Bosqueville.
Every classification,
Yeah, one of the smallest, and Allen one of the biggest, and there was never a thought of that. Allen is the big, when you went there again, it's just another school, and it just happens to be the biggest. It happens to have probably be the most recognized high school program in the world, probably. You wear an Allen shirt to an airport in New York, and someone's going to come up and say, that's the Allen, that's Kyler Murray's, it's just highly recognizable. But the schools are the schools, and kids are kids, and it doesn't matter if you're at a program that has 47 boys in high school, or you're Allen, that every one of those kids, they want to feel loved, they want to feel valued, they want to feel important, they want to be held accountable, they want discipline, they want structure, they want organization, and so it was never a conscious thought of, at this point I can't allow the bigness to be different. It's all I know how to be is me, and so I was me when I'm at Bosqueville and me when I'm at Allen, and hopefully me with every single interaction I've ever had in my life.
Well, I can say you have been that way with us, and we appreciate it because it's a lot. I mean, Allen's it's a lot. There's a lot of kids, and I guess relationships are key. And because of the numbers that you have in the Allen program, it's more of a challenge to have relationships. It's from a numbers standpoint. How have you managed? Because you talk to your kids at Allen, and they all there's those strong relationships. How did you manage that and game plan that?
Yeah. So that was tough early for me because what I wanted to do when I got to Allen, and just because of the Joe Martins and all the greatness that had occurred, I spent time talking to all the head coaches, going back to Todd Graham, significant time after I took the job of, I just want to learn what it was about, what you're about, what the program was about. So then it was, how can you continue to bring honor to all of that? And that first summer through fall, it was, again, get to know the kids, make this special, get them to their senior graduation, and make it the best we can make it for them while bringing honor to all those in that program. Well, then, when you get to off-season, it was, I only know this one way. And because of the numbers, it was really tough at first to do things like that. So we found a niche the first off-season, and that's it flipped for me in just an ease of, okay, this is just, the size isn't bigger than the program. It's just an opportunity to affect more lives and be around more people. So we're able to settle in, and we do the same stuff outside of the program, within off season, within in the in season as we did everywhere else. And to keep the relationships at a premium, we really focus on what we call our pipeline, right? So it would be really hard when you have so many kids. Or not hard, but it could be believable if forces on the outside are going to kids and say, look, your coaches don't even know who you are. I mean, that can become reality because there's so many of them, right? So we want to really, really, really plug in and invest in the pipeline, our elementary kids up through the 3 middle schools, the freshman campus high school, and just let them know that, we're not just waiting for the greats that are going to come play varsity football. we want you guys to enjoy what it feels like to be a hometown Allen Eagle, a part of this program, and we've invested a lot of time in that.
Lee Wiginton, head coach of the Allen Eagles, joined us here on Texas Football Today. Let's go back to last year, 14-1, a run to the state finals. Now that we've had some time to kind of, think about it, how do you assess what you guys were able to do in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly proud of our coaches and players. I'm not shocked by any stretch that we did that. I'm not over the top disappointed that we didn't find a way to finish it, but very proud of what they did. They continue to improve. When you just every season, again, you go back through the whole career. For us, we had a short non-district schedule. We have 2 games, right? So what we want to do in non-district is we want to play tough teams, and we want to start to find out who we are as a team, right? Get to find out our personality. Then we want to, throughout district, get better every day, every week. And we want to be peaking when we get to the playoffs. And very intentional throughout that process. And I felt like we did that. I felt like we continued to improve late in the season. Had a big game against a very good Prosper team. And then we've run into Louisville my 4 years there, and they're as good as –
It's a dogfight every year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, just so good. And that's the first-round game and just a battle. And I felt like that we did. I felt like we were ready for that and played well, and then and just continue to improve and really to be able to beat North Crowley with just such an incredible program, So that was big for us.
Speaking of getting ready for district play and tough non-district schedules, you've got a gauntlet lined up at non-district.
Lord.
Again this year. I know you're opening with Duncanville.
No. Back up.
Yeah.
They're scrimmaging North Crowley.
Yeah, let's do that. Don't forget that.
I mean, kind of run through that gauntlet you've got there.
Well, so that's what we've wanted to be my entire career. So I'm very, very proud of everything that played out. There was a glitch late that happened, right? So scrimmage in North Crowley, we love the way they play ball, the way they do things, and then getting to play Duncanville and DeSoto. Everything was going to script. We loved it, and I'm thinking, okay, are we going to be in a 9-team district again? Wonderful. We go to realignment, and we're in an 8-team district. So you're like, okay, we got to get another game. So we end up with Southlake, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. And no disrespect to anyone out there, we're in a great district. And there was a part of me that said, I'm so excited about the schedule. I just really am not over the top excited if we were to get Prosper first round of district. But you have a 1-8, it's not going to happen, right? Yeah. And then, bam, here you go, Prosper. So, and by the way,
it's
we're going to play it on a Thursday night.
It's a Thursday
night. But it would not have changed the way that we scheduled our kids. That's that's what y'all do. Y'all promote these kids and you promote programs. We don't do what we do to not have an opportunity to go play the best at every second, right? You want to have a chance to prove that all your work, all the stuff that you do matters, and you don't want to measure it against something that you aren't looking up at. And we feel very fortunate that we were able to get 3 non-district and a scrimmage with North Crowley that are programs that we have tremendous respect for.
Coach, I want to ask you, Allen, for better or for worse, fair or not, always going to be a lot of eyes on quarterback. Well, you were down state 7-on-7, Matthew. You got to see a young man, Ty Snell, sling it around. What has you excited about this young man coming back?
Yeah, he's special, and he's special throwing. Matt, you've seen him, and but it's way beyond that. He's going to be a sophomore, and the amount of time he spends studying the game, the amount of time he spends finding ways to interact with his teammates, in a field and in a preparation for the season, but also in just personally getting to know him. He is wise. He's a wise athlete, and when I say that, I'm saying on the field, I'm saying off the field, well beyond his years. He is incredibly talented, fun to be around. He's going to show up every morning with a smile on his face. He's one of those that's infectious. He's going to go out of his way to do the same to everyone around him. It's a lot of fun being around him.
You were talking about state 7-on-7. you guys got to the championship game. Fell a little bit short.
Yeah.
You weren't there. You were actually a little bit busy that weekend. I called you. I was going to try to get an interview in with you, but you were.
I don't know this.
Yeah. You were officiating a wedding.
I was.
And so Tepper, as a fellow wedding aficionado, you are ordained as well.
I am an ordained minister.
You're right.
Ordained as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience. Was it your first one? Or
it was my first one, and I want to start off by saying that I was rather disappointed with the process of becoming ordained.
Buddy.
I mean, so when I was asked, I was like, oh, what a tremendous honor. I mean, this is so awesome. And then I'm like, oh, my gosh, I will fail this process. There's no way I'll be able to get certified to do this. And it literally, I think I clicked online, entered my name, and hit submit. I'm like,
oh, that's it.
That's it. So I felt way underqualified, but what an honor. It was a coach's daughter, a coach that I've coached with many years, his daughter, and she married one of our rock mentors from years past. One of the highlights of my life. It really was.
Well, we're excited to watch the Allen Eagles in the fall.
I'm excited
with the Reverend Lee Wiginton on the side. Call him. Now we're just going to call him friend. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Coach,
you can call worse, I'm sure, right?
Much worse. By y'all.
He's Wiginton. He's the head coach of the Allen Eagles. Coach, we so appreciate your time, making some time for us. I know you're busy. Thanks for talking some Allen Eagles football. We're looking forward to seeing you in November, December,
that would
deep
be
in the
nice.
playoffs. That'd be
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate
I have so much love and appreciation for y'all.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you, my friend. It was Lee Wiginton, head coach of the Allen Eagles, with us here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston at the George R. Brown Convention Center. It is, I really just do think that they are, like we talked about last year, that Allen was capital B back.
Yes.
And, I think that's just, there's no two ways around.
Coach will probably cringe me saying this, but they are a state championship contender this year.
They start the year number 7
You
in
can't go to the state semifinals and then bring what they bring back and have the talent they have coming in and not be considered a state contender in 6A Division I is just freaking loaded. It's a road to get there, but if you get there, you battle test.
But that's the thing is that you look at their non-district, right? They're gonna you mentioned they're gonna be playing. They're gonna be playing Duncanville.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be playing DeSoto.
Yeah, a bunch of cupcakes.
They're gonna be playing South Lake Carroll.
Yeah.
As your 3 non-district games, right? And then you go right into Prosper. So here's the
Thursday night against Prosper.
Right. So here's the thing: we'll know. You know what I mean? We'll know right away.
Yes, we will.
Exactly what the Allen Eagles are about, and they'll it's going to be fun to watch. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think I was skeptical about, to be just real frank. I think I was skeptical about Ty Snell. I think I'd heard good things. I'm like, okay, it's a sophomore quarterback.
Sure.
And are we falling for it's the Allen quarterback thing? I'm a believer.
He's the real deal.
I'm a believer.
He's got weapons around him too. They are impressive.
I have been converted. We are still rolling here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in Houston, approaching hour 3 of our courageous broadcast.
Going strong. We're heroes though. We're sacrificing for
some
the good
people
of
are
the
afraid to be the best, not Tep and Step.
Nope.
But we have
another guy who's not afraid to be the best.
Another guy who's not afraid to play the best. We go to East Texas, but we go to our hot seat via East Texas.
Yes.
So the head coach at Sulphur Springs, Coach Brandon Faircloth. Coach, how are you?
Doing well, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome. How has coaching school been for you so far?
Just reconnecting with all your old friends and all the guys you used to coach with, and just seeing pictures of their children growing up and and their wives. Just it's just it's a great time to connect and kind of get grounded and get obviously kind of come back down to earth a little bit and know that, man, the seas's about to start.
Yeah, it's about to start. Does it ever hit you, you're walking around here and you're like, oh, I coached that kid. Now he's a coach,
Well, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but there are definitely quite a few people in here that I have coached. And so that's where we are in my coaching career right now. Is there's definitely a lot of people in here that, yes, I coached and hired down at P&G, and some of them are still there. And so absolutely. It's pretty cool to see how well they're doing.
Coach, you're entering year 5 there at Sulphur Springs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how you feel like this program is different from the one that you walked into 5 years ago.
I hope it's different.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. But
doing a lot of winning.
Do what?
You're doing a lot of winning.
We're
that's
trying.
For sure.
I appreciate you saying that. I think you got to come in, you lay the foundation, and I think it's about young kids at that point, man. You got to get your 6th grade, your 7th grade, your 8th grade believing. And so in year 5, now kids have been in the program for a long time now. I think I don't think that benefit shows up on paper sometimes with experience and things like that, but when a kid's been running the same offense and defense since 7th grade. Maybe they have to play as a sophomore and play a little early. Well, they've been doing it now. And so we haven't really been at that spot, in our program. But once you've been somewhere for 5 years, you got kids. I mean, they know you know them. They know the expectation. And so I think it really helps, and hopefully that'll pay off for us.
You talk about Sulphur Springs, and I went to a game last year.
You did, absolutely.
I went to Prem Stadium. It's a fun place to watch a football game.
Thank you.
Tepper, they feed you very well in the press box.
I'm writing that down.
And the gift basket was
the gift basket
next level
was
as well.
elite.
I appreciate
it.
Gift
basket?
I got a gift basket.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Riley Dodge was giving me a hard time about the gift basket.
Okay.
I just showed up.
Not for him.
I just showed up.
we try to take care of it.
Sulphur Springs is a unique and interesting place. I drove through downtown. I saw the glass bathrooms.
We've talked about it before, yes.
Our own Brooke Miller is fascinated with the glass bathrooms in downtown Sulphur Springs.
That's wild.
The downtown is buzzing. There's
buzzing.
People have the Sulphur Springs Wildcats games on the big screen at the restaurants.
Yep.
The buy-in from the community, your facilities are incredible.
Incredible.
I got to imagine when you were looking at the Sulphur Springs job, you were like, this is a place that I could stay for the rest of my career.
No doubt. We definitely saw the potential. No question. Hardworking kids, great administration. Obviously a great town to live in. Our kids love it up there. And so they're both in college now, but both loved living there when they were in high school. And so absolutely, we have a great place to live, great place to coach, and we've been very fortunate.
I want to ask you about last year, a 10-2 season. Now that you've had a little bit of time to digest it, how do you assess what you guys were able to do? Because it's 10-2, and that only scratched. Like if you just look at the number, I mean, some of the adversity that you guys overcame.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's a remarkable 10-2 season. I'm curious, from my perspective, I'm curious how you view it.
It's the same. Our quarterback Deuce Timmons. I'm sure we'll talk about him. He's an elite player. And got hurt the first play of the Salina game. And so for our backup to step in, Mason Cooper, and every team goes through adversity. We're not the only ones. I mean, that's what football season is about these days, is overcoming adversity. And so really proud of our kids for finishing the season. That was our only loss in the regular season, finished the year 9-1. And so obviously Alvarado's a great team, and they beat us out in the second round. But just proud of our team for overcoming adversity and, pulling together and say, hey, we can't make excuses. Let's figure out a way to maybe win games a little differently. And so we were able to do that. And, sometimes I think it's a great point. Sometimes a 5-5 record may not show, or 8-4 record may not show. And I think ours last year, 10-2, probably doesn't tell the whole story of what our team was able to overcome.
You mentioned Deuce, and you have him back.
He's back.
He's back. But you lost a really good – that senior class you had was a really special group.
13 college football players.
For a school, a 4A Division I school.
Correct.
So it's when you look at your ball club going into 2026, what are some areas where, I don't want to say weaknesses, but some areas where you're still looking at young guys and saying, hey, we don't have anybody written in as starters yet.
Sure.
What are some position groups you're looking at?
Well, we lost 9 starters on defense, and so we have we do have a lot of experience in our D line. Maybe they weren't starters, but they rotated in, and so we have a lot of varsity experience on our D line coming back that we're really excited about. But I would definitely say the first group I think about are our linebackers and our secondary. I mean, we replace all but one starter out there, and so our JV was 9-1 and we're district champions, and so I think we've got some good kids moving up that can take their spots, but they haven't proven it yet, and so I think we're a little young there on defense, and so we're going to use those. We have a tough non-district schedule, and so we use those 4 games to get ready for our district, and so it'll be those 4 games and 2 scrimmages will be vital for us to gain experience and be ready to go.
And I know your district. I don't know if your district could ever be as tough as it was.
Impossible.
No,
and that's no disrespect to the teams yet, because you're still in a very tough district. I mean, I was at the Paris game. When Paris and Sulphur Springs play, you just throw the records out the window. And Paris is going to be very good.
Very good.
State
Absolutely.
7-on-7.
Yeah.
Kaufman's dropping back down from 5A. They were a 10-win team in 5A a couple of years ago. So still some very good teams and some challenges in your district, right?
No, I mean, the first district meeting we had, we're sitting there at a table, all the head coaches. The first thing you notice is, everybody's well coached. Everybody's a good coaching here, and obviously you look at y'all's magazine. Everybody's got some pretty good players too, and so it's it's the same district, different teams, but really the same philosophy, man. Guys, everybody's well coached and everybody's got good players, and we got to have a great week of practice to give ourselves a chance on Friday night.
I want to ask you a little bit about, especially you mentioned the defense, but you're bringing back Deuce at the quarterback. Recovery.
Perfect, 100%.
Perfect, fantastic, great to hear it.
Answer prayers for sure.
Amen to that. This is, let's talk about the non-Deuce offense. You know what I mean? The pieces around. What has you excited about the pieces around QB1 that are going to have to
Well,
get you
we
where
got
you want to go?
a lot of receivers are returning. So we got Jackson Virgil's first team all district. A lot of
some Division I offers.
A lot of Division I offers. He's a wonderful player. He'll be a big asset to us. And another receiver on the outside that's coming back. All state tight end is back. Quinn Harris. All district running back is back, and Dobson Martin. We only returned one offensive starter on the O-line. We've got some JV kids moving up. They were, like I said, really successful last year on the JV, and so that's really our test. I don't know if it applies to a Friday night, but our JV was really competitive and had a really good season, and so I feel good about the O-line coming up. And anyway, so
okay. Now, Coach, you're a Brownwood guy.
Brownwood guy.
You're a Brownwood guy.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of us guys.
There's a lot of us. And so one thing I'm always curious. Now, you didn't play for Coach Wood, did you? Or was Coach?
No,
Wood?
I didn't. I played for Coach Allen and then Coach Bachtel.
But Coach Wood was obviously around town.
My dad worked for him. My dad was a coach when I was young, and so my dad worked for Coach Wood.
So he's, to me, being an Everman guy and playing Brownwood in district, my dad spoke so reverently of Coach Wood and the respect, and obviously he's gone, but his legacy still remains in Brownwood a lot. What can you tell us a little bit about Coach Gordon Wood and what he was like as a man?
Well, and
I knew you were a kid, but you probably
absolutely, just going to football camps, growing up and seeing Coach Wood. For us, he was as famous as any movie star. Just to be able to see him at a restaurant in town or see him at football camp or maybe after the game or something, just, to be able to shake his hand and, say good game. He's obviously a very humble guy. When I would see him, when I started coaching, I would see Coach Wood at coaching school, and this is, 2000, 2001. He would always say, "Hey, Coach Faircloth." Always knew my name. He's just sharp as a tack, and obviously did, just a highly successful, but just did more. I remember growing up in Brownwood and just like being in elementary school and like going to the pep rallies, just the excitement that, Brownwood brought to those things. That's what I wanted as a coach. I want to coach in places that they're excited about football, and for me, that came from Coach Wood and Coach Allen and Coach Bachtel being there at Brownwood.
Pretty good legacy there in Brownwood, I would say.
Pretty good legacy, I would say. It's funny. You still drive into Brownwood, when you come into town, and it's I don't know. Maybe it's you see Underwoods there on the side of the road. And it just feels a little bit different.
He is Brandon Faircloth. He's the head coach of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Coach, we so appreciate you taking some time, busy time here, but enjoy the rest of the show.
Yes,
we
sir.
are looking forward to seeing your Wildcats in the fall.
Yeah, we're excited too. Thank you guys for everything you do for Texas high school football.
Yeah, absolutely. There goes Brandon Faircloth, head coach of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Excited to see Deuce Timmons get back. I'm excited.
I can't wait to see a healthy Deuce Timmons getting after it.
He's an electrifying player, and mentioned first play for series of the Salina game, goes down with injury. To bring him back, and again, glad that he's back. All we want, we believe it or not, we don't actually root for high school football teams.
But you hate everyone's favorite team.
That's 100% true. But all we want is to see the best players go out there and compete. And it felt like we were shortchanged.
We were robbed a
little bit.
I personally felt victimized because the first game he was out was the Paris game, and I showed up and I saw Deuce Timmons there in a boot, and I was like, dang it. And I was like, Faircloth, what are you doing? Why is he not playing?
Look, we have said for years we should ban injuries. I don't know why the UIL has.
So you want to ban injuries and you want to get rid of the sun, right? Those are your two.
Yeah, we want to destroy the sun and we want to ban injuries. If the UIL takes care of those two things, I got no other notes.
Yeah, I think Jamie Harrison about banning injuries.
This is a guy who's he's in control. Texas football today live at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Bravely going into hour 3 of our broadcast. And by the way, we're doing this again tomorrow.
We're just grinding over here.
Coming up here on the docket. Let me run this down to you, okay? So we got our next guest. We're going to talk to him in just a moment.
We won't spoil it yet.
After that, North Texas head coach Neal Brown will be sitting here.
Okay.
Then the head coach of the Lindale Eagles, Coach Chris Cochran, will be here. Yeah. That's a team I've got really
We think Lindale's
going
to be pretty good next year.
For. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Houston Cougars, the 10-win Houston Cougars.
That's right.
Coach Willie Fritz.
A ball coaching Jack and Willie Fritz.
And then a very special late addition to the party.
Oh.
Do we want to spoil it?
No, don't spoil it.
Stick around, 2 o'clock, a very special late addition to the party. An unadvertised main event coming up here at the end.
And the lead into those guys is the gentleman sitting in the chair right here.
You talk about a disappointment. You just stole everything.
We are pleased to be joined.
You had Allen with Wiginton. You just got Faircloth. you announce all those other names,
Yeah.
and then come to me. Like, there couldn't be more disappointed people
Oh,
in the state
no,
of
we're-
Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the head coach of the Bridge City Cardinals, Coach Josh Smalley is in the hot seat. That's right.
Coach.
Look at the rousing
Absolutely.
round of applause.
Thank you for the charity.
Coach, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah?
How are y'all?
How are things in Bridge
Didn't
City,
have to
America?
drive too far.
No, it's about an hour and a half. It wasn't too bad. How are things in Bridge City? Humid.
Yeah, well, okay.
Humid.
Well, that seems.
We are the wet bulb capital south of Texas.
Well,
would you put that on the road sign driving into town
Yeah,
from now?
I hold it up on 62 and
okay.
I-10, a little
That's-
cardboard sign.
That's actually, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
We can talk a little wet bulb. Here
Talk
for
a little
moment.
wet bulb, okay.
The UIL, for those who don't know, has a rule about the wet bulb thermometer, which kind of takes into account sun, heat, humidity, etc.
Yeah.
And
Cloud cover.
things like that, and gives you a number as to whether or not you can practice. The issue, and in talking with coaches like in your part of the world, y'all have a different climate than El Paso. I don't
Just
know.
a little bit different.
We got a lot of things that are different.
And it comes from a good place from the UIL. They're trying to protect.
Absolutely.
Everyone's trying to protect kids. I'm curious from your perspective where, like, I don't want to get you into trouble, but like at the same time, what you think about the overall process.
I spent 4 years at Bridge City High School as an assistant working for Dr. Jamie Harrison. So like,
You
I've
can
got a great relationship with him, and he and I have had some conversations. But at the end of the day, we're just going to attack it for what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
You can sit here and be mad and frustrated and stomp your feet and all that, or you can just find a way to make it work and do what's right. And so we are a different situation where we're located. We're probably the most rained-on part of the state and probably the most humid part of the state, and we have the least amount of indoor facilities in the state. So we're stuck outside. Yeah. And so it is what it is. We've invested in the Prairie, the sister program, to kind of give us more accurate, updated information. We're going to follow the guidelines the way we can, but we're also we're not going to navigate and change everything that we do. We're just going to go do what we do and make adjustments when we need to make them.
You mentioned you coach with Dr. Harris. Well, he was a basketball coach, right?
He was a basketball coach. When I worked for him, he was a superintendent at Bridge City.
Okay.
So probably in his, I don't want to age the guy, but he's probably early 30s. He got to be the superintendent at Bridge City, and so I happened to be there as an assistant. So I've got to know him really well. He's got a phenomenal story. If you've ever sat down and listened to his story growing up in Hardin Jefferson, like it's amazing. Where he's at, and he's a great human being. I saw him walk around earlier. There was a little halo, a little glow, and I knew that was him. So
there you go.
Entering year 3 here in Bridge City as the head coach. I know you've been there but a hot minute. I am curious about how you've seen the program change from the big chair. I know you know this program well, but I am curious from your perspective, like how this program is different from the one that you walked into the big office 3 years ago.
I would just say, I spent 12 years in Orangefield, which is 5 minutes away across the bayou, and so I never really was far away. The biggest thing has just been consistency. The only thing that's been consistent in Bridge City has been change. There's new head coach, new AD, new coordinators year in, and there's no way to build a solid program if that's the only thing that the kids know is change. So when I told them coming in, I said, I'm from here, I'm born and raised, graduated from here. At that time, I was 47, 48, now I'm 50. I said, this will be the last place I coach. The end of my coaching resume is going to be here. So I'm not going anywhere. We're going to bring in coaches that are going to be here and not move on. So that was what I wanted to bring to the program, was just a little bit of stability. And it's kind of, I don't say that's why we're successful. Obviously, you got to have great players. But we went out and hired 2 really good coordinators that know how to do a good job. One has been a head coach before. So I think just bringing some stability has been the difference.
Well, and the success you guys had last year, just the just tremendous season, and I remember that playoff game. I think at Stalwart Stadium there.
Yeah, in Navasota.
I mean, the crowd y'all had. I mean, when it's just a little, and I think it's like that in South. Port Neches Groves, their fan base is legendary, but that part of the state, if you can put a winner on the field, that the community is going to come out, and that support. What was that like? What was that like last year, and just the excitement around town?
The year before, when I got the job, the pre-district was already set. I didn't have anything to do. The district schedule set, and I walked out the first couple of games, and we won, beat some non-district games, and then we walked out there. We ended up being 3-0 going into district versus Lumberton, and we went to Lumberton, and the crowd showed up, and it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then you make the playoffs. You go on the road and play Longview Pine Tree round 1 and played great, lost 35-28. And then so this year the expectations were a little higher. And so the coolest experience I've ever had as a head coach was week 1 of the playoffs. We played Tyler Chapel Hill at home.
Yeah.
And when you walked out there wasn't an empty seat in the stadium.
Coach Reardon coached. He was at Crosby, so he was that area, and he told me, he goes, "We are walking into a hornet's nest."
It was the most fantastic environment. People took pictures of the stands and everything, and so then we go on the road to Navasota or to Baytown, play Navasota, same thing, and then third round we play 2:00 against Kilgore.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah. But it was the same thing. I mean, we still had the same crowd, so I think our community was really proud of what we did. They showed up. Our kids appreciated it. Coach staffs appreciate it. So it's been exciting these last 2 years. I'm excited about see what happens this year.
Yeah, on to 2026. And you take a look at this ball club. Do you have a feeling quite yet on how this team may be different from last year's team?
Coach Sutherland from East Chambers just asked me the same thing, better or worse than last year. I said, I don't really know how to answer that. It's all going to depend on if we can stay healthy. Our quarterback's back. Obviously we got linebackers going to Arkansas. We got another linebacker that's, if he was a couple inches taller, would be going the same places. We got some really good receivers. Line's going to be okay. We graduated 7 off of a really good defense. So, but it's all going to be health related. Some idiot scheduled Needle in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
Preseason number 1, Newton in the scrimmage. Preseason number 2, West Orange is on our non-district. Preseason number 14, Silsby's on our non-district. So I don't know what Dundee put all that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who did all that. And we don't get the bye till the last week of the season.
Oh, is that you got the week 11 bye?
17 district, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
we're
tough.
going to run. Not only did the schedule get a little bit tougher, but we got to run the gauntlet. And so staying healthy. You always have that 1 week where people get the flu and things like that you got to deal with. So I think if we stay healthy, I think it's comparable to last year as we could be.
Coach, I got to ask you about this. Now, you when you were at Orangefield,
yep,
you guys ran a slot team.
Yep.
Have you been excommunicated from the Mafia because you guys are not running the slot team there at Bridge City? So how has that gone? How was your Mafia membership card revoked?
Immediately.
Really?
Immediately, yeah. Jeff Matthews, who's now retired at BSN, has been a fighter forever. His first thing he did was drive over to the field house, take my card. I was telling the story a while ago about to Coach Reyes, used to be at Lumberton. I get introduced in January or whatever. We're sitting in the basketball gym, and Dr. Kelly, our superintendent, he's building me up and whatever. This guy.
Saying nice things. I can't believe he was saying nice things about you.
No doubt. The kids are just sitting there. They ain't said a word. Like, they're just sitting there like, all right, here's this other, bald guy. Here we go, and so then he brings me in. I give him my little 10-minute Newt Rockney, we're going to take on the world. They don't say a word. They're just sitting there. And I said, so I'll answer the question. No, we're not running the slot tee. And it was like an eruption of euphoria. Like, I should have just let off with that and walked out. Like, you're like, yeah. And bottom line is, I felt like in Orangefield, year in, year out, those were the type of kids that we're going to have to keep us competitive. When I came to Bridge City, they already had a quarterback that could do what he could do. They had a running game. They had a system. I didn't think, we talked about change earlier and consistency. I didn't think what they needed was to change something else. Enough was changing already. Let's keep it the same and move on, and it's worked for us.
Talking with Josh Smalley, head coach of the Bridge City Cardinals here on Texas Football Today, live at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. Let's talk about Bryce Breeden.
Yep.
If you just for the
coaching,
viewer,
right? All coaching,
the viewer.
Yeah,
for the viewer.
I made him what he is today.
If you've never flipped on the tape of Bryce Breeden, it's like he's like a Tasmanian devil out there. He's everywhere. He is one of those guys, and I mean, this comes off as a compliment that I mean it. It is hard, I think, for the casual viewer to notice that the defensive player is actually the best player on the field. Yeah. Usually it's quarterback or receiver or something like that. This kid is unbelievable. And I'm curious, how much credit do you take?
None.
And then also, like, we know he's committed to Arkansas. You can flip on the tape. He's remarkable. What is it about him that makes him a special player?
His motor.
Yeah.
Like, when I got hired, he was a freshman. And the first two things he said to me, I want to play big-time football, and I want to make Bridge City known for football. Like, we're more of a baseball, more successfully baseball. I consider football kind of a roller coaster program. We've had our ups and downs, and hopefully we kind of keep going up. But that's what he told me from day one. And then you watch him practice, get to know him, and, like, you never have to cattle prod him to go harder. Like, nobody's ever said, hey, Bryce, can you do that harder? Like, it's usually you got to kind of pull him back a little bit. And those are the only things kind of bad conversations he and I have ever had have been at practice. Like, hey, if we want to win Friday, that kid needs to be healthy, so please don't go kill him. You know, and he doesn't understand that. He says, Coach, football's football.
He's got one speed.
He's got one speed, and what you see on Friday is what you see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, we spend more time pulling him back than we do ever having to go forward. He's one of a kid. I think all kids like playing football that play. Not all of them like hitting.
Yeah, sure.
He likes the physicality of going in there and just hitting you as hard as he can. And so and he's a smart kid. He's a film watcher. He shows up in the summer. All the traveling he did this summer with his visits and everything, he still made every summer workout that he could make. We're really excited that he's not going to Arkansas until December or January. But that's the number one thing is he has a motor that is just hard to turn off.
Tell us about your offense. Who are some guys that come this fall we need to keep an eye on, and what's got to go right offensively for you guys to have the success you want to have?
We got to be able to run the football. Our quarterback's back from last year, Hudson Hoffman, who was an all-district quarterback. He had like 28 touchdowns, 2,000 yards passing. We lost the district MVP, Abraham Munguia.
He was a really underrated guy.
Yeah, if he was 6'2", he'd be playing somewhere in the SEC as well. But he ended up catching on with Lamar, so good for him. We lost him. He's a dynamic player. We could give him the ball. He'd go 90. But we've got some guys that have come out. We got a receiver/tight end named Luke Nelson. That's about 6'2", 205 that can go. He's going to be a really good player for us, and we've got some other kids. And we've got some kids that come out from basketball that didn't play last year that want to play, and they're good-looking kids. Our O-line's got to protect. But if we can run the football, we lost our running back, Ashton Summerall. But if we can run the football offensively, we got enough weapons outside that we're going to be okay.
Coach, kind of not off the field. It all kind of trickles onto the field, but I want to talk about the leadership that your team has. It seems to me that you have a group of guys who, I don't want to say you're not working. You're doing some good work, but this is a player-led team.
I'm not doing anything. Trust me.
You mentioned when we talked in the offseason, getting ready for the magazine, about how this particular group of guys have really latched on. Can you tell us a little bit more about just the culture that's kind of been instilled there in Bridge City?
It's been awesome to see. I mean, from day one when we walked in, you could tell they were hungry to win. We walked in the weight room. The kids were in there. They immediately bought into the summer program, and then thank goodness we had some success. Because you can tell them all you want, but until they start winning, they're not going to believe. Well, we won, and they believe, and then it's just kind of carried over. And a player-led program is way better than a coach-led program. They get tired of hearing from me. They need to hear from each other, and they need to hold each other accountable. That's where they're at. When we don't have enough kids, in their opinion, at workouts in the summer, they're calling each other, making sure they're coming and checking on each other. So, and that's kind of where Bryce is at, and Keegan, our other linebacker, is they haven't had to be that vocal guy the last couple of years because we've had some experience behind them. That's where they're going to have to step up this year, is they're going to be the vocal guys on defense.
Looking at your district, I mean, UIL realignment, I don't think there's a surprise about who you're paired with.
Yeah.
But there was some shifting. You're not doing near as much traveling in by district if you're lucky enough to get there. Yeah. But when you look at your district race, again, I think it's going to be a battle weekend. The teams down in the 409 and in 4A Division I, every week, it seems like every week there's a close football game. It's just a tough district week in and week out.
Obviously, there's nobody ranked in the top 5 or 10 in our district, but I think it's as competitive from top to bottom as you can get, and whoever plays the best on Friday night is going to win. It may not be who has the best record or who's picked to win. It's just, if you go play Friday, you got a shot, and like you said, it could be a coin flip every week between LCM and Huffman and Lumberton. Livingston, I think he's done a great job of getting that program going, and Liberty's right there. And I'm leaving somebody. Vidor, Coach DuBois, I think they're going to be way better this year. They were all sophomores last year. They'll be competitive this year. So from top to bottom, it's as competitive as it gets. The non-district round, the by-district, not having to see Kilgore, Chapel Hill, or Pine Tree's good. But obviously,
it was nice having that home game last year.
It was the best experience I've ever seen. I'll tell you, it's great. So we lose them. We lose the district of Doom and by-district. And the UIL just brings us Stephenville.
Sure.
And so,
I was shocked when I saw Stephenville in District 12.
Yeah, I asked Dr. Harrison, of course, he don't give up anything. He's really good at what they do as far as the realignment stuff. I'm like, how did they go from 1? They skipped 2, and they just went diagonal into number 3.
The guys at Stephenville, we were at Birdville at realignment for them, and they thought the UIL left them out because they had never looked at Region 3. They were only looking at Region 1 and Region 2.
Well, let me tell you who wish they would have left them out.
Yeah.
One of the coaches goes up to Coach Doty and goes, I think the UIL forgot us. And they're like, no, we're in 12.
So, you get China Spring now. You get Lampasas. You get Burnett. We lost that first-round matchup, which was rough. And not that it's going to be any easier with Houston or whatever, but now you got the defending state champs sitting in your region. So
there you go.
Other than that, though,
no big deal.
Life is good, brother. When you're my age and you got 3 grandkids, they ain't a whole lot bother you anymore.
There you go.
There you go.
You got a great barber too, Coach.
Hey, I love your haircut.
Barber. Yeah, it looks good.
I love your haircut. It's the best thing in the world.
He's Josh Smalley. He's the head coach of the Bridge City Cardinals. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hopping on with us. There he goes, Josh Smalley.
There he is, Coach Smalley. Appreciate you, Coach.
Head coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Coach. We are rolling here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in Houston, bravely, courageously into our third hour of broadcasting.
Yep, my earpiece is falling out. And,
everything's going great. Yeah. But we have had a star-studded run of coaches. I'm excited to see what Bridge City is able to do this year. You know, it is a new-look region. It'll be very different. But, I think that getting that – I just can't tell you enough. Go flip. If you're an Arkansas fan and you haven't seen the Bryce Breeden tape,
he's an animal.
He is just a freaky line.
And on the recruiting trail, a lot of folks didn't know who he was. We got another
friend.
big guest. Coach, how are you? Good to see you.
Oh wow.
It's a really good get for Arkansas because on the recruiting trail, I thought being in that part of the state at Bridge City, not a traditional power, he might have gotten overlooked to the recruiting trail, but they found him. He's a heck of a football player.
We are rolling here at the THSCA Coaching School Convention in Houston. It's Texas football today, and into the hot seat, we are pleased to be joined by the new head coach of the North Texas Mean Green, Coach Neal Brown has courageously decided to join us. Thanks for
putting up with us.
I don't think he knows what he's getting into.
Yeah. Well,
I appreciate y'all having me.
He's got friends around him with V&A, Pickle, and Mallory all being Mean Green.
Hey, there's a lot of green here. I appreciate that.
A lot of
you got a whole fan section over here, Coach.
A lot of Mean Green. How have the past few months been for you? Have you caught your breath yet?
It's a great question, first of all, and I do. I appreciate y'all having us, and this is a great deal y'all are doing.
No problem.
And it's I was glad to be back in Texas last year with Coach Sarkisian at UT, and then getting back into the full swing of it here in North Texas, man. I really appreciate what you all do for high school football. This is the best place to recruit in the country, best high school football in the country. Appreciate what you all do, and it's been a blur.
Yeah.
Professionally and personally, it's been a blur. My family finished the school here in Austin. Mm-hmm. My oldest went back to West Virginia and finished high school and played softball. And then I've been in Denton. And so it's been a blur. We've got 72 new players. I walk in the exhibit hall here. Everybody wants to know how you're going to be. I'm like, I don't know, man. Hey, it's first year in the league. We got 72 out of our 105 is new. So I know this. We're going to be entertaining. Mm-hmm. And so, but I'm glad to be here. It's a great place.
Coach, you mentioned the level of high school football here in the state of Texas, and you were down in Austin last year, and you're obviously familiar with the lay of the land. And when you built your staff, you brought in guys who I think had ties to Texas high school football and boots on the ground, guys like Ray Gates, Corey Jordan, and I'm sure I'm leaving several guys off. How much of a priority? Obviously, you want to hire good football coaches, and you wouldn't have hired those guys if they weren't good football coaches, but how big a priority was that to hire guys who had their ear to the street, so to speak, and had the connections in Texas high school football to be able to not only get high school kids to come to want to play for the Mean Green, but also we know this new landscape of college football, relationship building is key, and you may get a kid, you may not get a kid at that first swing, but he may be looking at you guys when he's looking to transfer portal.
Yeah. Well, the 3 things we're looking for in a staff member, we want guys that are humble, we want guys that are hungry, and we want them smart. Right, so we started with those 3 attributes, and then it went to, okay, where are we going to recruit? Well, one of the best things about this North Texas situation is we basically recruit about a 4.5-hour radius. DFW is where we're going to hit it the hardest. Then we go East Texas, Houston, Central Texas, a little bit Oklahoma, and that's it. And so we wanted to surround ourselves with our staff with a combination of people that I had worked with previously and had a personal relationship with, and had a really good understanding of the systems and processes we wanted to use. And then we wanted to put people in those areas that had relationships that were proven and had done a great job. And if you look at it offensively, Matt Maddox, our offensive line coach, coached in Texas, played at the University of Houston, coached at numerous places here and recruited this area. Mike Blesh, our tight end, run game coordinator, played at Houston. From Houston, recruited this area. And then Keyshawn McClain, who's a UNT alum, he's a Houston native. and he'd coached at UNT previously. Go to defense, so we got Bradley Del Pivito. I was telling Peeve earlier, we were having lunch before I came over here, and we've got the head coaches panel, and I was like, Peeve, I think you've worked at about every FBS school in the state of Texas.
He's got some good stories too, Coach.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's no better story. That's who you all should have on the show.
Yeah.
He'd be way more entertaining than me. And then you think about it. You talked about Corey Jordan, obviously ties to DFW, and then Coach Gates, who's here right in front of me. I think you look at his record and what he did at North Crowley, unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And so very fortunate to get him on our staff. But you hit it nail on the head. We wanted to surround ourselves with people that had great ties to this state.
Neal Brown, head coach of the North Texas Mean Green, joining us. Coach, most first-year coaches are stepping into a situation that's broken, and they gotta fix a program.
Yeah.
You're entering a program that's coming off their best year in quite some time. How do you approach it differently? Because of this ain't a rebuild. This is a keep the train on the tracks type situation. Just keep doing what you're doing. How do you approach it differently than you would maybe if you were taking over a team that had gone 1-11?
I think it helps. This is going to be year 11. I've done it at the Division I level. So this is going to be year 11 as a head coach. Very fortunate that 18 years in leadership now, whether as a coordinator or a head coach. And so North Texas is coming off the best year in school history. And there was a couple years in the late 70s, but I think it's safe to say the best year in school history. Now, the unfortunate thing is we don't have the benefit of bringing back a bunch of experience. Right? So for us, it's about building a program. How do we build off the success that Eric Morris and his staff had last year and those great players that have transferred or graduated and moved on? Like, how do we build off that success and really provide a sustainable winner to the Denton community in North Texas and all the alums and all those things? And I think it's possible. I don't think there's ever been a better time to be a member of the Mean Green than right now. So many schools have it's the new modern era of college football has really been detrimental to some tradition-rich programs. Well, for us, it's the opposite. The rules have really benefited us. We're well-resourced within our league. You mentioned it earlier, Matt, like, you're recruiting guys 2 different times now. And so the benefit for us is in the DFW area and Houston and all those areas that it's listed is people are taking fewer high school recruits. So we have 25 commits right now, and they're high-level players. But they're available because the P4 schools are taking less guys. And now the flip side of it, when guys want to come home back to the DFW area, we're the G6 option that's in the DFW area. And so I think we're really fortunate for the location we have, and we want to build off that. Are we going to win 12 this year? We're damn sure going to try, But what we want to do is we want to be in the mix every single November to win the American Conference Championship, what I think is realistic. And if you're around all the time in November, you're going to win it. And if you win it, you should get in the playoffs.
You mentioned the location. How much of an advantageous thing is that? Because I think Denton is almost like the perfect college town in a lot of ways because it's just big enough.
Yeah.
It's not a big city, but it's big enough. But the proximity to the DFW Metroplex, kids can be in Denton and feel like they're, especially when you're recruiting DFW kids, they can feel like they're away from home and getting that college experience, but yet they want to come home and do laundry or come home and get mom's home-cooked meal, they can do that. That's got to be a huge advantage when you're recruiting in the DFW area.
Hey, I should let you do the recruiting stuff.
Yeah, you're hired, dude.
Yeah, listen, we get you on an official visit because that sounds very similar to my approach on my opening meeting Denton is, I think it's the fourth fastest growing city in the entire country.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Every time I drive through there, they're building something new.
But we have the benefit. We have a large campus, 40,000 plus students going there. We're one of the few universities actually growing. But we also have a real college town to it. The university runs right into an old school, old college town square. And so you have that ability. You're in a smaller town. You can walk around the entire community, but you also can get to Dallas or Fort Worth. So you're talking about the 9th largest city in the country, the 10th largest city in the country in less than 30 to 35 minutes. And so you have the added benefit of all the things that come with being in a metropolitan area. And then the airports. That's the thing. Like, you can literally get anywhere in the world direct from DFW, which is about 20 minutes from our campus.
Coach, I want to ask you, the last time we saw you as a head coach was at West Virginia, coaching in one of the toughest conferences in America there in the Big 12. What did you take from your time at West Virginia that's going to help prepare you to be the coach and have the team you want to have in Denton?
Well, I think, first of all, y'all don't have enough time, and y'all don't want to hear it from me that long, because I could go on that for a really long time. I think anytime you leave a situation, there's things that you grow from and you learn from. And there's some really positive experiences we had at West Virginia. I'm proud of the overall body of work that we had there. I think under some really tough circumstances, we were able to compete at a high level in that league. And I think the takeaway for me is surround yourself with people that are like-minded, which we feel like we've done here in North Texas. Be committed to the systems and processes that you have in place that you've known have been successful not only at West Virginia but at Troy. And then the other piece is you learn from some of the mistakes you made, and I think that I take ownership on the things that we could have done better at West Virginia. But I think when the landscape started to play out last November, kind of what the head coaching jobs were going to look like, the draw to me to North Texas was about location, was about alignment. Our athletic director, Jared Mosley, I think he's the best in the country. He's unbelievable. And then we had a university that was all in on football and being committed. And I think the biggest difference is we're going to be well resourced within the American Conference. So we're going to be resourced within the top quarter, and I think that's the most important thing in college football right now is where are you resourced within your peer level. And so our peers within the American Conference and our administration is going to give us a chance year in and year out to compete.
Last one from me. I got one more, which is you're selling somebody a season ticket to North Texas football. Like, what can North Texas fans expect? Because I know there's a ton of, the players have changed. You mentioned the influx and what can North Texas fans expect from a Neal Brown coach, Mean Green team?
Well, first of all, we're going to play like our hair's on fire, and it's going to be a really physical brand of football. And our guys are going to compete at an extremely high level, and then we're going to be entertaining. We're in the entertainment business. I think it's important that we play an entertaining brand of football. We're going to try to hit explosive plays. We're going to pressure people on defense. We have an unbelievable stadium experience.
It is. If you've never been up there, that's an unbelievable
It's a great place.
And at every ticket level. If you want to go to the suites, we have an unbelievable suite experience. We've got some boxes that are on the field that give you a unique perspective. And then the cheapest seat in the house, man, is still quality. Oh, plus, we have unlimited parking. You can get in and get out right there on 35. And so what we have to do to be able to grow our program, there's so many people that are moving to North Texas, right? 35 keeps growing, right? Yeah. Everything. And so for us is we've got to get those casual fans, maybe not necessarily our alumni base, but the casual fans that are moving into the area that have excess income to come spend that with us. And we've got a great product. I think if you come and see us, you'll make a return trip.
Yeah, I'm Coach. I'm fired up. I'm excited to see what you guys are able to do, and I think that, in a situation where, like we talked about, it's not a rebuild, even though you're importing kind of a new roster, but a lot of the pieces you've brought in, they're really, really, really exciting, especially from high school football nerds like us. Yeah. Like we look at that across that roster and it feels like there could be something really special brewing there in Denton.
Well, a ton of our best players are from the DFW or the Houston area, which you all know well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's Neal Brown. He's coach of the North Texas Mean Green. Coach, we so appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations again on the new gig, and we'll plan on seeing you out at the stadium this season.
Guys, y'all are welcome anytime. Appreciate what y'all do.
Thanks, Coach. There he goes, Neal Brown, head coach, North Texas Mean Green. Coach, appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you.
I'm fired up. That's the
UNT alums over here are fired up as well.
They should be. I mean, it's an exciting time. Coach Brown, he had the 1 year there as the special assistant to the head coach there at Steve Sarkisian there at Texas. He's a guy who's been successful. He was super successful at Troy. Went to West Virginia.
Did a great job at Troy.
He did.
Yeah.
Went to West Virginia. Ended not the way that he hoped it was. But I think that North Texas is a really good fit for him.
The buzz, I think, around the UNT program is really palpable.
And you kind of hit the nail on the head, too, about him hiring smart and like building a staff. We've seen both SMU do that and North Texas.
There's a blueprint.
There's a blueprint for making it work. We're live here.
Another guy's got a blueprint sitting down with us.
We're live here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in Houston. Greg Tepper and Matt Stepp bravely in our third hour of broadcasting today.
Just sacrificing
such
for the
courage.
People. We're heroes, Coach.
What we're
doing,
really
heroes.
What we're doing
Y'all
to
are
our
awesome.
body. Those dulcet tones you hear belong to the head coach of the Lindale Eagles. Let's go live to the hot seat to join our friend Chris Cochran. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are y'all?
I'm great.
We're great.
Great to see you.
They picked the right color for you to wear on the air today.
Tomorrow
it's a little different, right?
Tomorrow we'll be in red.
Well,
so
good. Well, we don't. Red's not one of our colors.
We do not want you on the air in red, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you taking care of
now,
it.
keep an eye on Jeff Reardon. He's looking to maybe get a selfie with you in a red shirt. So just keep an eye on Reardon.
He's
looking. You gotta watch that guy.
I think he's looking for Coach Fuller today.
He already got
blue.
him.
Okay.
He already got him, and apparently he put it all over the Kilgore Facebook page.
Oh, jeez. First of all, how's the family? How's
doing
your family?
Great. They're doing great. Lindsay's walking around here somewhere, and believe it or not, my kids, they're on a cruise right now with their grandparents. So
living the life.
Yeah, they're living.
Wait,
a
how
good
old?
life.
How old are the kids now?
7 and 5. Yeah, so time flies.
You're making Tepper feel old, Coach.
I know.
That's deeply.
Sorry about
Pickle's shaking her head too, because she's known Kobe his whole life too.
7 years old.
That is deeply troubling to me. Okay, let's talk Lindale football, and specifically, I don't know if you've grabbed a copy of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
I have.
Not sure if you've seen it. But
did you utter a four-letter word about Tepper when you saw the
it got sent to me in a screenshot back in June when y'all released.
In 4A Division I, we have the Lindale Eagles ranked second in the We're believers.
It's rat poison.
Okay.
So
go ahead, just let us have it.
That's rat poison. Okay. That's all we'll say. Yeah.
We think you guys have an opportunity to be pretty special. When you take a look at your roster, what has you excited about the guys that you've got coming back?
I would say, first of all, thank you. I appreciate that. The experience, just the guys that were playing as sophomores several years back, now they're seniors. We have 31 seniors. Obviously, not all of those have that experience, but there's some key guys that have played a bunch of football, and when you play them as sophomores, that's the hope that they can just continue to get better year in, year out, and and then their senior year, that you look back and there's a lot of experience that they got under their belt.
And it's not just experience, but because of geography and because the way UIL realignment breaks. You play in a district that I would say is it's pretty decent.
It's pretty
decent.
It's a pretty good district.
Okay,
these guys the last 2 years. What are we?
Yeah, Kilgore, Pine Tree, Chapel
yeah.
Hill, Henderson, Palestine.
I mean, no big deal, right?
Right.
I mean, those guys, the last 2 years have been knocking heads with some of the best teams in the state. So not only do they have experience, but I would say it's a level of experience at your level in 4A Division I that probably not a lot of folks can match. I know that's probably not comforting when you're trying to week in and week out prepare for these teams, but at the same token, I think you guys have those calluses on your hands that can maybe enable you to make a deep playoff run if things go your way.
Everything has to go your way. The experience is awesome. The level of just the way our guys care about football and care about each other. That's an awesome thing too. But as y'all know, number one, you have to be healthy. I mean, if one or two guys get hurt and that's the wrong guy to get hurt, now all of a sudden your things change. And like we all know, the ball has to bounce your way too.
Yes.
And so there's a lot that has to come into play there for you to go do it. But we are excited about it.
One of the things that I think is really and I really admire about your program is that every year you are a guy who fits your team and your scheme to the guys you've got.
Yes,
there are coaches out there who this is what we do. This is what we do. If it's a bunch of square pegs, but we got round holes, they're going into the round holes. Doesn't matter. Because I think back to the team that ran to a title game.
Mm-hmm.
You're compared to what you guys did in 2025, they're just totally different stylistically.
Right.
Do you have a feeling quite yet on this 2026 team stylistically where they're going to fall on that spectrum?
What I think we I mean, we can feel a certain way right now in July, but you really don't know. And, I mean, I feel like we're going to be a ground. I mean, what y'all put in the magazine, I mean, we're going to run the football at people. We've got, Hank Thurman coming back. We've got several of the O-linemen coming back, and David Lindig does a good job running the football as well. But, he also has some receivers and a tight end in Reed Carnathan that he's been throwing to for a long, long time, and so as soon as I say, ground game, and I honestly, I think it's just, one game after another. It just depends on what the offense or defense is giving you, and we've got to be good coaches and be able to adjust, in game.
To have that balance, though, has got to be key because, at your level, you can't be completely one-dimensional and win those football games in November, December. I think, obviously, you got to be physical up front, but, if teams are showing you 8-9 box, you got to be able to put the ball in the air and hurt them, and then when they're showing you a light box, you've got to be able to get downhill and run the ball. And I think at least – you guys had some success in 7-on-7 this summer. You went to the state tournament, so I think at least there's some positivity there that knowing that, hey, if somebody loads the box and they're putting 8-9 guys in the box, we can make plays and hurt them.
You have to. You got to be able to throw it. You got to be able to play action and hit the ball over the top, just to loosen things up. But, it does. You're right. Like, it all starts with the run game, and we want to be extremely physical on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
Talking with Chris Cochran, head coach of the Lindale Eagles here on Texas Football Today. I want to go back to last year, and I love asking coaches about games they lost.
I only interview coaches when they win.
Yeah, I know.
I do the easy stuff.
I'm the jerk.
Yeah.
That area round matchup with Fort Bend Crawford, just unbelievable football game. Knowing, like, now that you've had time to kind of process it, and how do you guys talk about how the season ended last year? We know there are coaches who are just turn the page, we're never thinking about last year. Where do you stand on that as far as talking about the way the year ended?
It is. It's sickening, even now in July. I mean, you because if you win that game, you don't know what's going to happen, But I think we could have done a better job leading up to that, just making sure that we weren't thinking ahead, because we are dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old young men that are looking at a matchup with Pine Tree or looking at a round 4 matchup with Kilgore, and it's not about that. And we talk about being 1-0. We truly do, but you know how it goes. Sometimes you say that and it doesn't always play out that way. So I think, to answer your question, we go up early on them. I think it was we're up 21 or 17, and I just feel like we were already looking to week 3, and that's on me. I've got to do a better job keeping our guys in the game and locked in and just being 1% each and every play.
We've talked about the offensive guys enough. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's talk a little Lindale defense.
Let's do it.
And tell us what about your defense has you excited going into 2020? Those guys, everything's unproven. It's all on paper. But what about the Lindale Eagles defense has you excited?
Somehow I think I know one of the names he's going to mention.
I'm gonna say Cam Beeson.
Yeah, baby.
Would be a guy that we're fired up about. Second year, you got to love him.
Greg Powers is fired up about him too.
He's an awesome young man. Has had a really, really good summer, and he broke his leg at the end of the year, week 10, and because of that, it happens to big boys. They gain weight so much easier, and so he's trimmed that weight off. He's 6'2", 315 pounds. He's moving really well right now. 81-inch wingspan. Like, he's got all that, and that's just the recruiting. That's the recruiting pitch, but he's going to be. This will be his second year as a captain. He's a leader on our team with David Lindig, and so it starts with him because what we said earlier. It starts up front.
How much easier is that for you as a coach when your best players are also your captains and they can lead? We say it sounds cliche, but the best teams are usually player-led teams. So much easier does it make your life when your stars and your best players are the guys who are leading that locker room?
It is. I mean, it's night and day, and because it's not like that every year. You don't always have that, but fortunately this year between Cam and David, and we've got some other guys around, that are very, very talented, that are now seniors that feel comfortable leading. That makes a huge difference. Another one talking about defense is Lincoln Lang playing at linebacker, and he's a really good leader for us as well. And so, we're excited about several of those guys.
So you mentioned the rat poison thing, and we did you either a favor or not. Like, how do you – because, look, these guys are on the internet. These guys, they got internet access out there in Lindale.
Phones.
They got phones. They're able to look and see what those dum-dums that Dave Campbell's think. How do you talk about expectations and – especially you have your own internal expectations.
Right.
External expectations. How do you talk about that within your program?
I tell them, when y'all put that out there, there were some moms that were really, really excited about it and posting it on Facebook. And I told them, listen, hey, that's what moms are supposed to do. But we got to win every day, or it doesn't matter because somebody else is. And, so it's one of those things that we're going to embrace it. We know that now y'all have helped put a target on our back, but it's like, hey, let's go embrace this and let's just be at our very best each and every day. I know that's a little bit coach talk, but that's truly what we're asking them to do is embrace that target on your back. You still got to go earn it one way or the other.
Well, what we say is you can tell the kids, and we'll see if this works. Just tell the kids, hey, make Matt Stepp and Greg Tepper right.
Right, exactly.
And there you go.
We would appreciate it if somebody would actually be like, hey, you know what? Those guys were right. Those guys knew what they were talking about.
Instead of it being rat poison, they were right.
Yeah.
Coach, before we get you out of here, now I have been to a game at Lindale Eagles Stadium. It was not to watch the Lindale Eagles. I watched a guy named Terry Bussey play at Lindale.
That was an awesome game.
He was a pretty good player, wasn't he,
Coach? He was really good.
Yeah, I heard he might have extra year of eligibility. Maybe we'll see if he does. But you go to a game at Lindale, and I've been to and you guys treat us well. Doc's Pizza in the press box.
Absolutely.
We know about Doc's Pizza.
We do know about Doc's
Pizza.
Yeah, I ran into y'all at Doc's one day. Yeah.
So the real ones know, Coach.
Yeah,
real
that's
ballers
right.
know. Now, to go to a Friday night game at your place when the Lindale Eagles are playing, can you describe what's that like for us? It's got to be just a true East Texas atmosphere.
It is. And, last year I feel like we kind of took a different step or a new step, towards it being a special, place to play on a
Home
Friday
field
night.
advantage,
Yeah,
right?
it really was. And it helps when you win. And so that's part of it.
Yeah.
We were we were undefeated for a while, and the more you win, the more it builds. An addition that people in Lindale are very excited about is we're going to have a big video board, 56 by 39.
Let's go!
And so the construction on that's going right now. So it's going to be a really cool place on Friday night.
It's a fun place to see a game, and it's kind of tucked into a neighborhood
it is.
there.
That's
the
right.
trees are kind of around. It's a neat atmosphere, and I when I walked in there, I just felt like it was Texas high school football.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Got the trees in the background. It's a cool place. Yeah.
He's Chris Cochran. He's the head coach of the Lindale Eagles. You can see them in Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Just look for the number 2.
Yep.
Coach, we
appreciate
appreciate your time.
Yes,
I'm Mike Stein here for a second. Appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all your success last year. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do this year.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate you.
Coach. There he goes, Chris Cochran, head coach of the Lindale Eagles here on the TFT Coaching School Spectacular, presented by the Arlington Sports Commission. We have got 2 more guests on deck.
Yes, we got one. I see Coach Fritz right over there.
2 more guests, and then a super secret final guest.
Super secret. I'm excited to see who our final guest is.
Who could possibly know? There's only one way to find out. That's by sticking around.
Yeah, that's right. You got to hang around a little bit longer. But
we're going to take a quick break. After the break, the head coach of the Houston Cougars, Coach Willie Fritz, joins us here on TFT.
In Texas, football starts long before kickoff. Early mornings, long days. At Huntington, we're here for it all. From preseason grind to Friday night lights, we look out for you. Huntington Bank.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Friday night football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a Hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Back here at the George R. Brown Convention Center, THSCA Coaching School and Convention, it's Texas Football Today, presented by our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission, Greg Tepper, Matt Stepp. We've been broadcasting all day, and we've got some heavy hitters entering the hot seat.
Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. We are pleased to be joined by former Willis High School assistant coach, Willie Fritz. Also,
you dug deep.
Also, I guess the head coach of the Houston Cougars, too.
Yes.
Suppose that. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you. I just looking for your magazine yesterday.
Oh, well, you know.
We got a copy for you
Yeah,
here.
we got one for
we'll
me.
make sure you get a
We
copy.
could
I
probably
really did. I was at HEB yesterday, and I was trying to find it, so I'll grab it.
Well, you've had a habit recently of making that magazine less valuable, because last year we predicted in your first year there at the Houston Cougars you guys would go 6-6. You guys did not go 6-6, and instead a 10-win season in your first year. You've always been a guy who has built programs and been known as a builder. Did last year meet your expectations, exceed your expectations?
Well, it was actually my second year.
Second year, I'm sorry.
First year we went 4-8, so we
We'll
lost
talk about
a
that
couple
too much.
games.
We'll talk about
this is the first one that we count. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you always have high expectations every year. I mean, if you don't, why get into this business? Why play the season? You know, so we thought we'd really improved our team with high school recruiting and with the portal, and that was pretty evident last year. We'd love to take another step this year too.
Coach, you know, you get coaching school here in your hometown in Houston, and you've been in this business for a while, and you're around these high school coaches. And I know even though I think the transfer portal and the landscape in college football has changed so much, you still talk to college coaches, and they talk about the importance of high school football recruiting, and you working with these high school football coaches on trying to get their student athletes to come to your campus. And you coached a long time, been in some great places. How impressed are you with the level of high school coaches and the level of coaching you see in the state of Texas, when you're out recruiting kids?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. You know, as you mentioned, I coached 1 year in 1986, Willis High School.
Willis has changed a little bit since 1986, hasn't it?
I think we had 650 students.
They're still in that same stadium,
I'll tell you
though.
a quick story there. When I was coaching there, I taught elementary PE.
Okay.
And one of my students was Michael Bishop.
You're joking.
And years later, I recruited him. He came and played for me at Blinn.
Uh-huh.
You know, so relationships matter.
Oh, my God.
All right,
Yeah.
so I didn't do too many bad things to Michael when he was,
Yeah,
when he was a
he
little
remembered
kid.
you,
So
right?
he
Yeah.
still came and played for me. But it just is, things that are different. The expertise and coaching. I was just talking to a coach a moment ago from Lindale, and we have a kid that's came in the summer to play for us on the defensive line, and he was so good technique fundamentally. As soon as he got to our place, it was unique. Normally in some other states I've been in, or if you recruit a kid from another state, which we're about 95% Texas kids, it takes them a little while to catch up schematically, technique fundamentally. But here in Texas, there's just a lot of great coaches, and they do a fantastic job with their student athletes.
Coach, we talked about how you've rebuilt programs in a hurry everywhere you've been. You know, in 2 years you've taken Houston into immediate Big 12 contention. When Houston's really going, or really any of the stops that you've had, when you're really playing your best football, what do you want people to see that'll say that's a Willie Fritz coach ball club?
Oh, we talk about our football culture all the time. You know, I was talking to our players about it the other day in practice. Just, you know, we're going to run and off the field, run on the field, and it's part of our culture. That's just how we do things. You know, attention to detail with ball security and handing the ball to the official. Not very many. I have people that send me emails from all over the country. I come watch. That's so nice. I really do it to emphasize ball security. You know, but it's also, you know, respect for the game as well. So we just want to play at a different tempo than maybe other people play at, and we also want to have that attention to detail that's so important.
Coach, you know, going through your background, and obviously you mentioned your time at Blinn, and I'm a junior college guy. I was
Where'd
at
you go?
Trinity Valley.
Okay, where'd you play there?
I played basketball there back in 98, 99, so a little while ago. But
yeah.
And I always used to revel at watching Trinity Valley football at the level of, in that conference, of the level of football and the kind of talent that plays junior college football. You coached at Blinn. You coached Michael Bishop, national championship. I think y'all won a national championship at Blinn when he
yeah, we won it twice.
Yeah, sorry, you won it twice.
2 times.
Now
that I was counting.
Yeah. But when you look at now, we're in the recruiting landscape. How does the junior college recruiting filter in with this transfer portal era and high school recruiting? Where does that fit in? Because you've got experience in that world.
You know what's happened now in junior college? At one time, you had to have a test score, an ACT, a SAT score, and a GPA, a core GPA, to get into a four-year school. And now they're not having to take the test anymore. And so there's the quality player that might have gone to a Trinity Valley or a Blinn, 15 years ago when they switched the rules, they may not be getting. I think junior college is a great path for a guy to compete and have an opportunity to go on and play at the next level. But I got Don Landholm over there, who's one of my assistant coaches at Blinn. He's coaching for me now at Houston. Every player on our team was a Division I guy when we were coaching at Blinn.
Yeah,
we had a bunch of them. I think we had 6 guys on defense who played a little bit in the NFL.
Yeah,
one season. So it's different now, but there's still a lot of really good players at the junior college level.
Coach, I want to ask you about a guy who hasn't even taken a snap for you yet, and Keyshawn Henderson.
Yeah.
Here is a guy who is, at the very least, one of the top 5 players in the class of 2026, depending on who you ask. This is a super duper duper star, a true blue chipper. And I think a lot of people, when he committed to Houston, said, well, he's going to get flipped. Other program's going to come in.
Yeah. A lot of people try, too.
A lot of people try. What does it say about what you guys are building that you guys were able to take a hometown kid and say, come on over and let's win some championships over there at U of H?
Well, a couple things. Number one, we offered him before his sophomore year when I was at Tulane. Right, so we had a long established relationship with him. We just got done talking about Michael Bishop. Michael was his high school coach as well, and Michael had a very good experience with me. Him and I have been close since I coached him at junior college. And I just think, Keyshawn was smart enough to realize that he's a Houston kid, and he's very close to his family. A lot of kids, they think the grass is greener someplace else, and they go far away and they find out it's only green, and they come back home. And we've gotten a lot of kids out of the portal who have gone away to far distances and come back to Houston because that's where they're from. That's their culture. So we had a lot of things going for us, but without question, Keyshawn's going to be a great, great player for us.
You mentioned the hometown thing, and you go back to the days of the University of Miami when Jimmy Johnson and those guys built that program. They kind of called it the state of Miami, right? They wanted to draw a circle around the city of Miami, and that was their base, and they would go pick and choose kids from here and there, but 90% of their recruiting was done within a 50, 60-mile radius of Miami. I feel like you could, and I'm sure this is part of your plan, but if you look at the talent that's in the city of Houston, the number of recruits and the quality of high school programs that are here, if you were just to recruit in the Houston area, you'd be able to recruit. You'd have a great football team, and I'm sure that's your priority recruiting, right? You want to draw a circle around Houston and try to get as many of these top players as possible, right?
Yeah. Houston obviously is a big priority for us, but for us, we're the state of Texas, and we're the state of Louisiana. I was over Tulane for 8 years. The big deal for us is drivable distance. I'm going on my 3rd year. I have not gotten on a plane yet to recruit.
Wow.
Okay,
Never.
That's nice.
I just think it's, I just don't have problems like other programs have because the kids are close to home, and I'll drive and hit schools in Houston and maybe make my way to San Antonio, and then I'll turn around, drive back, hit schools on the way back. We do it to Dallas, East Texas, but the majority of our kids are going to be from the state of Texas, and I just feel like they're going to be happier. When I was at Blaine Junior College, we had one kid from out of state that played for us in 4 years. One. When I was at Sam Houston State, we had 2. I was their head coach for 4 years. We had 2 kids from out of state that played for us. But when I went to Central Missouri, I didn't have very many Texas kids because they were too far from home. When I was at Georgia Southern, I didn't have any Texas kids, too far from home. So we're very blessed that we got the best football in the world here in Houston, Texas, and we got the advantage of having a Power 4 program that kids want to come to.
And you've got spectacular facilities.
Unreal.
And I thought, even just on television, it was noticeable when you guys started getting cooking last year that you started the buzz coming out of that stadium. Like, it felt like Cougar fans came home and they said, all right, we're into this. Did you feel that? Did you notice the community kind of rallying around you?
The biggest deal for me last year is on December the 27th, which isn't a great date to have a bowl game.
A lot of things going on.
No, not great, yeah. A lot going on.
We had over 40,000 fans, Houston fans, at the Texas Bowl. We had alums, we had students, we had, people in the community. Over 40,000. There's 65,000 people at the game, but over 40,000 identified as University of Houston fans. So that's really told me that people are excited about what we're doing.
You mentioned it, connecting with the community. I mean, obviously there's a huge alumni base of right here in the city of Houston. There's a lot of people that live in Houston that didn't go to U of H or maybe don't have a direct tie to the university but just want to go see good football. How important is that to make the Houston Cougars not just the alumni's team, but you are the city's team as well. Y'all have great monikers and you do things. That's from a marketing standpoint and marketing your program, it's got to be huge to be able to get out in the community and get the average fan who just wants to see a good football game to come out on Saturday to your place and watch you guys go at it.
Yeah, a big part of my job is going around speaking at different places, recruiting people to come to our ball games. There's a lot going on in the city of Houston.
Sure.
A bunch going on.
Yep.
I tell them all, just come one time. We've got a great stadium. Every seat's a good seat. Sometimes you go to these bigger stadiums and you sit up high and there's a rumor of a game going on down there. Right? Every seat is a great seat. It's a great product. The Big 12 is outstanding football, and I think you come one time, you're going to really enjoy it. And that's something that we want to do is compete for those fans, not just with people who went to school at the University of Houston, but people who live. We've got over 200,000 alums in the greater Houston area.
That's insane.
So we've got a lot of people, and we're wanting to get them all come over to TDECU Stadium. Check us out.
I haven't been there to watch you guys play, but I've been to high school playoff games at your place, and it's a great atmosphere. And you're right. There is even the nosebleed, quote unquote nosebleed, is not a nosebleed seat at your place.
Right.
It's a great seat no matter where you had.
Last one from me, Coach. Not to date you, but later this year, you will coach your 400th game as a head coach.
I didn't even know that. What date is it?
It'll be you're at 394 right now. So whatever game 6 is, whatever 6.
Wow.
That'll be your 400th. And
I know that.
And you've won a lot of them. You've won championships at every level. What gets you excited about the job? People. I've been doing this job for 15 years, and I think anybody who's had a job for this long, you got to find things. What gets you excited?
I love taking over programs that have been down. That's something that I've done along the way, and I think there's a real challenge in that. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I had a job offered, and they'd won 12 games a year before. It's like, what am I going to do? Wow.
Wrong number, guys.
But, I always tell my players all the time, you need to find something that you're passionate about and something that you're good at. I think I'm a good coach, and I love doing it. I'm passionate about it. And, if you do that, you find something, an occupation that you're good at and you're passionate about, it's like you've never worked a day in your life. And I love jumping out of bed every day, going to work. And, and this University of Houston obviously has got a lot of great things going for it. And you want to check that out, too, when you take a new job. But I'm just excited about this opportunity we have at U of H.
He's Willie Fritz. He's the head coach of the Houston Cougars. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having us. I'm going to grab the magazine, too.
Please, yeah,
you should.
absolutely.
You should.
Yeah, the predictions are non-binding. I don't know what. I think we learned from our mistake.
We think you guys will be good.
I think it'll be pretty good. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you, my friend.
Go Cougs.
Willie Fritz, head coach of the Houston Cougars, joined us here at THSCA Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. We appreciate him taking a little bit of time with us. He's been pulled in all sorts of different directions.
Yeah.
He's a popular man around here. I don't know. It's fine.
Thanks, Coach.
Willie Fritz, head coach of the Houston Cougars, hopping on with us. Coach, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Best of luck. Look. I mean,
now we've got our secret, super secret.
Let me tell you
surprise
something.
guest.
Like, that's a guy who took a program that, like, in desperate need of a jolt, right? And suddenly got them 10 wins.
Yeah.
10 wins. That's a ball coaching jack right there.
He's a ball coach. And then you all saw Coach Brantley there with Galveston Ball, the head coach of Galveston Ball. Coach Fritz, Coach Brantley was a young GA with Coach Fritz at Sam Houston at one point. So I saw Coach Brantley over there giving Coach Fritz a little high five there.
Vianney, could you give me a magazine when you get a chance? Thank you.
We're going to get a magazine.
It's Texas Football Today live at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention.
Oh, I know who the guest is
in
now.
San Antonio. We've got a special guest, a super secret special guest here.
He made time for us.
Unscheduled, unpromoted. Here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in Houston, we go live to the hot seat. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the cover boy of the 2026 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Two-time cover boy now.
Joe McGuire.
Cover boy. I love that.
Cover boy.
I love that.
It's
you have to share it with Trailer this time, though.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'll tell you what. It's every year when we put together the magazine, we start with, like, okay, what are we going to do with the cover? We kind of settled on Texas Tech. And I remember thinking, well, we're not going to have a problem getting a yes for the cover subject. You know what I mean? Like, that was the guy. I remember I think it was Mike Craven reached out to you to be on the cover, and I was like, you probably just show up right now and he'd do it. Like that was one of those things I never worried about you being interested in being on the cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Well, I mean, it starts everything. You know, it's like, I think a lot of times you think of Big 12 Media Day starting football season at times for college, but for me, whenever I get the magazine, that's whenever football really starts, you know, and I do, man. I read it cover to cover.
And people say that, but I believe it when honestly.
Well, we talk about sickos, right? And like, I'm a Texas high school football sicko. You know, we run into sickos. Coaches a lot of times aren't sickos. Then you get into college, you guys got so much going on. You're not sickos. You are still. I would call you a Texas high school football sicko.
Oh, I'm a sicko. Y'all have heard this story before, but we go to a movie every Friday night, and I have my app up watching, and then usually my buddies, if they're playing and they won, they're going to get a text that night before I go to bed, you know, and so we have it up.
This is the level of sicko Coach McGuire is. State 7-on-7 tournament is going on in College Station, and our website went down for a little while, and he texted me, I can't see the scores from the 7-on-7 state tournament.
7-on-7 tournament.
Hey,
you were just wanting to know what was going on, right?
So going into that week, once the polls are set, I literally go through and see at every level, you know, who's playing who, and there was some great games this year. I mean, and then some teams that were surprisingly, like, we were never good at 7-on-7 at Cedar Hill. We went a couple times. We never won, and Cedar Hill played pretty good.
They did a good job. Coach Ward did it. Those guys did it. You know, one thing, Tepper, talking about 7-on-7 with Coach McGuire, he wasn't a big 7-on. I was the one that I think got you into 7-on-7.
Yeah,
right?
you and Michael Glaze really made a push of of like this could help the team.
We don't want to get Glaze too much credit.
No,
right.
no.
Get Glaze too much credit.
You're on the cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Now, I would be remiss and derelict in my journalistic duties if I didn't mention that this wasn't the original cover idea. We had come out to do a cover shoot with you and included your quarterback at the time, Brendan Sorsby. I know nobody would have predicted or scripted out how this would have gone, but I'm curious, between the Brendan Sorsby situation and just like everything that came with it, what did the last few months kind of teach you over the last few months?
Well, I'm actually going to talk about it Tuesday, and so my topic on Tuesday is a Black Swan event, and it's something that happens that's totally unexpected that rocks the foundation of, for us, our program, our culture, but the thing that it taught me is, number one, if you would have been in the building at any time from April 16th, whenever I found out, until the end of all of it to now, where Will Hammond is knowing that he's the guy, you wouldn't tell any difference with our players. Like, it is absolutely amazing how they worked through this the whole time, and I'm really fortunate, the leadership, that Ben Roberts, who's been with me for 5 years, Coy Aiken 5 years, Sheridan Wilson 5 years, John Curry 4 years. Like, those guys just held us together. It's like, hey, our big deal is make the main thing, and what's next? And those guys live by it every single day. You wouldn't know that there was anything going on in the building. Outside the building, there was a lot going on.
You talk about, culture is a word thrown around by coaches, especially at a place like this, a lot. And with that, you get to see the culture in real life come to fruition. Bad things happen, things that you can't control, and things that aren't what you planned for happen. But you can always fall back on the culture. And it's almost like you sink to the level of your training a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to make you proud that you're when you walked into workouts and you saw your guys that level didn't change because something bad that wasn't planned happened off the field.
Yeah, I was really proud of our guys. And a couple other young guys, Jacob Ponton, Jacoby Williams, Cam Dickey, have made huge steps in being really vocal. And they were really vocal through all this. Like, hey, guys, we got to go to work, man. One thing we talk about all the time, hey, September 5th, for some reason, if I'm not there, that ball's still getting kicked off. They don't need me to kick that ball off in that first game. And so you better be ready. You got to go prepare your team, no matter what's going on, to play that game. And those guys buy into that and really pushed us through everything that was going on.
I'm curious, you guys were – you were the talk of the sport for a while, for better or for worse. I'm curious. You mentioned like within the building, some negative attention within there. How did you guys kind of as a unit kind of handle it, attack it? Is there anything like now knowing what you know now how it ends? And this is an unfair question that you would have done differently.
Yeah.
How do you kind of assess the situation now after
Black
the
Swan
fact?
event.
The Black Swan is like after the fact.
So one of the biggest things that I would have done different is if I would have known what the NFL was going to do, then I would have sat down with Brendan and saying, look, let's don't take this chance. As much as I've got your back, and I still do, we talk. I mean, I've talked to him 2 days ago. Let's go ahead and go to the supplemental draft if they'll let you do that. I think that would have been more possible if he would have done that right off the bat. And that's what I hate because, man, the young man, he's gone through so much, and he'll be the first one to tell you it's his fault. Like, he takes the responsibility. He's very accountable with it. And he says, it's my fault. But, for him to have to sit a year, and I still go back, and there's so many people that they're not having to do the same thing he had to do, and there's been a lot of stuff happen. And I got called out. A lot of people were saying, well, you're comparing this to this. Well, when you use the word integrity, you got to use the word integrity. And whether it's the integrity of the game or just the integrity of being a good human, there's a lot of people that haven't been punished the way he was punished. And so that's where I would go back, and that's the one thing I would change if we thought that was going to happen.
Looking ahead to 2026, obviously, things have changed a little bit, and coming off a conference championship.
Yeah.
You know, the target is on your back, and you guys have, you know, and we talk to high school coaches all the time, and, you know, the climb is not as hard as it is as staying at the top of the mountain. When you talk to your guys, you know, what's got to go right? What's got to break your way? You know, you got to have the ball bounce your way. You know, especially at your level.
Yeah.
I mean, the margins are so slim. What's got to go right? What's got to go well for you guys to have the success you had last year and maybe build on that and have more success?
Well, we need to beat Houston. You know, you had Coach. I mean, they're going to be really good. Yeah. They did a phenomenal job.
Coach Fritz is a ball coach in Jack,
he is.
Isn't he? Yeah.
And they are great evaluators of talent. They don't get enough credit of what they did in the transfer portal, you know, and they did a phenomenal job, and they retained their guys. But, you know, like everybody, one of the things people are like, you know, you got a target on your back. Well, the way our season ended, we didn't expect that. And so we've got a lot of fire and a chip on our shoulder that we're still hunting what we want to do because, you know, we did not expect, whether you lose, but we didn't expect to not play well on offense that day. And so there's still so many things that we've got to do. And so I think that's really pushed the team, you know, to be ready to try to defend the title.
It's no secret that you guys have been aggressive at NIL. It's part of the story we tell in here.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is you get these guys in, they're not leaving. You know what I mean? So
retention.
How can you talk to me a little bit about the retention aspect of it? Of yes, you know, you recruit them the first time. You got to keep recruiting them. How have you guys been able to hold your guys together when certainly there have been, you know, their phones have rang. They have cell phones. You know.
Oh yeah.
How have you been? What do you credit? What do you credit the retention that you guys have been able to have?
You know, I think it starts with my whole staff. You know, number one, it's a very healthy building. When you come in that building, you see genuine people that really care about the players. You know, the number one thing we have in our program is the player, and you can't work at Texas Tech if you don't understand that they're the most important thing that walks in that building every single day. That's one, so I think our kids are really happy. Number two, our kids are being developed. Mm-hmm. And I love that people say, well, y'all didn't develop David Bailey. David Bailey, in a total of 3 years, didn't have 14.5 sacks. And in 1 year in our defense, putting him in the right position and developing him, he had 14.5 sacks. He was number 2 overall. And so overall, just that was a transfer guy, but like John Curry's playing his best football. He's being developed. Ben Roberts, who is the MVP of the Big 12, he's being developed. So if you're happy and you see you're growing as a person and as a football player, then you have a great opportunity to keep those guys, you know. And man, I think we have the best staff in the country. I think it's the best staff that I've been on since I've been there, top to bottom, training staff, strength staff, nutrition staff. And, man, you know, the guys, we pour so much into our guys to bring them together. That's what I'm, you know, I'm the head coach, but I'm the coordinator of culture. Like, that's my title, you know, and I'm really fortunate. I'm more of a CEO, so I let Kenny Perry do his job, Shield Wood do his job, and Mac do his job, and my job is to bring the guys together. And, you know, that's the key. That locker room last year was so close, and this locker room, through some of the adversity that we faced that we talked about, has become really close.
Speaking of your staff, you talked about Kenny Perry. We saw you and Coach Perry last night at dinner. Real know where to go for dinner.
Yeah.
You ate good. I'm assuming.
Oh man, it was incredible.
How much of an eye on Kenny Perry do you have to keep here at coaching school? Because he can get himself into some trouble real quick if he's not careful.
The Sherry Street Sheriff.
Oh man,
I'm telling you. He's amazing, and he needs a new title of Mayor of Lubbock, because I'm telling you, there's not a person you go anywhere to eat, you go anywhere in any kind of restaurant, grocery store, anything, and somebody's going to talk about Kenny Perry. Like, I mean, everybody in that town loves him, and he really does know everybody. He'll come in, and he goes, "Hey, have you met so-and-so?" No, well, we need to get him. He's got money, so we need to get him apart. Like, Kenny's out there, like, enjoying life, but, man, he's hustling.
You told me when we came out for the cover shoot, because for those who don't, there's a docuseries coming out from Paramount Plus. We have to sign waivers and stuff so they could use our images. So, like, Mike Craven, I think, got interviewed for it, which will be hilarious.
Oh, no doubt.
Anyway.
You think Craven Craven's, like, the most guy doesn't want to be interviewed by anybody.
You told me, though, that they sent a crew to Perry's house at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he's might become like a cult hero now.
Oh, he is. He's 100%.
Oh yeah, Perry.
Number one,
yeah.
he is on the team.
Yeah.
He is a kid magnet. He's a connector. Every Thursday in his meetings, he comes in and he starts the meeting with, the year was 1991, and he's telling this story, and the kids are just like, they can't wait to hear the story that he's going to tell. But he's a phenomenal cook. I mean, absolutely phenomenal cook. And so he cooked for two different groups, and they came over, and man, the Paramount crew, they were fired up because they got to eat too.
I didn't know Kenny was a good cook.
Oh, he's big time.
Really? Okay.
He's the most interesting man in the world. Like
he
really
really is.
like there's that dude's like, you're like, that's coming from Kenny Perry. Like
that's I'm shocked.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm thinking of Kenny Perry when he was at Haltom,
No doubt.
and throwing his hat around.
Well, he's the greatest hat thrower, I think, in high school football.
He might be the greatest hat thrower in Texas high school football history. No doubt.
Josh Cochran at the college level is pretty special.
Okay.
Okay. He is. He can let it fly.
Okay. His
good bloodlines. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty calm though.
Yeah.
Calm
no doubt.
All right. Finally, Coach. What number coaching school is this for you?
32nd.
32nd.
32nd. My first one was in Fort Worth, and I was not a full-time coach yet. I was a full-time teacher because I was getting my certification, so I had to teach. So, and I was volunteering for Robert Wood's staff at Crowley, and I had never been to coaching school. I had no idea what it was, so I didn't register, and so I stood in a line that just went days and days, and it wasn't like it is now where you can scan a barcode or anything.
All on paper, right?
All paper, and I'll never forget. So Fort Worth was my first one, 1994, and man, it's just been such a crazy, incredible ride.
Is that like the biggest advantage to being like a conference championship winning football, like college football coach? Is that somebody else stands in line for your credential for you?
Man, we're really fortunate. I think Coach Cochran actually did it for us with Coach Martin, who coaches my stars in our player development. They got all our badges yesterday, and then Coach Martin sit in the lobby this morning and passed them all out to everybody.
It's good.
So,
it's good to have a friend.
And I'm wearing mine.
Oh,
We'll see. I guarantee you today on the panel, I guarantee you Jeff Traylor and Joey McGuire will have their badges on.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do at coach's school.
There you go.
Right. I feel naked without mine, but I was doing it for broadcasting.
Yeah, you are broadcasting.
No,
there you go.
Coach,
there you go.
There we go. He's Joey McGuire. He's the head coach of the Big 12 champion Texas Tech Red Raiders. Coach, we appreciate you making some time for us, my friend.
Coach.
I know
Always,
you're busy.
man. You know I love you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
y'all.
Appreciate you. There he goes, Joey McGuire, head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, the Big 12 champions. I don't know if you know that. They won the Big 12.
I didn't know that.
They won the
Thanks,
Big 12.
Coach. Appreciate you.
They won the Big 12. My older brother was very excited about it as a Texas Tech fan.
Oh, yeah, your brother's a Texas Tech alum.
He's a Texas Tech guy.
There's has the Wreckham going.
There's our super secret special guest there at the end. He literally.
What a way to close the show.
We saw him at El Tiempo yesterday. He and Kenny Perry and his son Garrett, and we were
El Tiempo, very good fajitas.
And he was like, "Hey, when am I coming on the show?" I'm like, "When do you want to come on the show, dude? Like, we'll figure it out."
We didn't book him because we thought, he was on last year with us. We didn't want to bother him.
I think we've got one more thing before we close the show. Is this correct, V&A? I think we have a special report from Big Crute and Little Crute, Greg Powers and Mallory. Let's get our special report.
Special coaching school report.
Greg Powers, Mallory Hartley out here at the 2026 THSCA Coaching School and Convention down here in beautiful Houston, Texas. We're going to take you inside of what the THSCA Coaching School and Convention actually looks like and everything that it entails, because it is a wild ride. Over 17,000 coaches in attendance this weekend.
All right, here we go. We're going to take you inside. And as you can see right here, the escalators are closed. We're going to be able to find a new way up. Terrible planning on our part, but here we go, Mal. We're going to make our way to the convention hall next. All right, here we go. When these doors open, you're going to see hundreds of exhibitors here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention, and you're going to be amazed and awed at the massive size of this event. check this out now. Look at all of these people, all of the businesses that descend on Houston to be able to market their products, talk about, the existence of their companies, and network with high school coaches, college coaches throughout the state of Texas. I mean, it is massive in here. I'm going to walk you around the corner so you can start to get a little bit of the scope of this thing, to be honest with you. And you can see everybody talking, everybody meeting with one another, talking about this, all these great products out here. All right, and we're going to take you now down the hallway. This is where all the press conferences happen. This is where all the breakout sessions happen. Coaches are in here learning, and the cream of the crop are out here giving tutorials, teaching the game, on the field, off the field, academics, football IQ, a little bit of everything going on here today. Coach Corey Jordan from North Texas just a few minutes ago gave a big speech on DB and the DB mentality. This hallway, Mallory, does it put in perspective like the massiveness of this event? We're going to go through these doors and you're going to start to see how many people are truly here.
I think they said it takes probably about 15 minutes to walk from our booth just all the way down to this exhibit hall. 15 minutes. Is that accurate?
I think it took us about 15 minutes to get from the DCTX booth all the way down to where we heard the THSCA today speak on NIL and a number of other issues. And look, we got the Dave Campbell's crew coming up on us right now. Check them out. Ashley Pickle, Brooke Miller, Ryan Hooks, Brett Holland right there. What's up, guys? Man.
We just walked the whole convention floor.
We made it back.
We put some steps in, I'll tell you that. It's been a really great day. Day one of the THSCA coaching school and convention. Powers, how you feeling so far?
I'm a little worn out from that long walk. We got the crew grinding behind us right now, talking to Allen, head coach Lee Wiginton. Everybody is putting in the hours here at THSCA coaching school and convention. What a trek that we just went on, a journey that it's limitless the amount of things that you can do here.
Yep, stay locked in all week. We'll provide full coverage from the 2026 THSCA coaching school and convention. We're excited for the rest of the week.
Thank you, special correspondents Greg Powers and Mallory Hartley, for that riveting report.
Amazing
report.
Yeah.
We appreciate
live on the scene reporting.
That is a brisk 3-hour and 22-minute broadcast, sir.
That's the fastest 3 hours and 20 minutes I've ever been a part of.
3 hours and 22 minutes. We thank you so much to. Do you have the guest list up?
Matt Lovorn.
Canyon
head coach.
Thank you.
Will Blaylock, Cy Ranch head coach.
Will Blaylock.
Tremaine Jackson, Prairie View A&M head coach. Brian Randle, Richmond Randle head coach. Jason Todd, South Oak Cliff head coach. Casey Dick, Rockwall-Heath head coach. Lee Wiginton, Allen head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Faircloth, Sulphur Springs head coach. Josh Smalley, underrated guest. Josh Smalley,
very strong. A little 409 action.
Neal Brown, the head coach of the UNT Mean Green.
Call.
We had who was after Neal Brown?
Chris Cochran.
Chris Cochran, Lindale head coach, and then we had Willie Fritz, the University of Houston head coach, and finally Coach Joey McGuire, the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah, that's a
guest list.
Pretty robust. And here's the thing:
it's just as good tomorrow.
Tomorrow we've got this exact same show except different guests. So we will be tomorrow. We've got G.J. Kinney, head coach of the Texas State Bobcats, will be joining us. David Lucio from Tidehaven is going to be here. Guy who coached in a state championship game last year. Hiawatha Hickman will join us from West Orange Truck. Lee Munn,
the new head coach of
South Lake Carroll, if she slips the page.
My guy Steven Jackson, the new Lancaster head coach. Josh Irvin, the head coach of the Ganado Indians, state champion head coach.
Kyle Coates, head coach of the Tascasita Eagles, will join us live.
Wade Oliphant, the guy who turned around Lamarck, helped get the Cougars back going again.
If you can turn the page one more time. We mentioned G.J. Kinney. How about the head coach of the 6A Division I state champion Galena Park North Shore Mustangs? Willie Gaston will join us. Our friend Matt Wilson from the Arlington Sports Commission will join us, as will Malcolm Hill of the Pflugerville.
And who knows, maybe
Weiss
another special
Wolves.
guest tomorrow.
And maybe one more special guest. That's why you stick around.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for us.
We're going to get some lunch.
Done talking, and I am tired.
We're hungry.
I'm hungry. It's going to do it for us. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com for the people that made it happen behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
V&A Moreno, Sam Moore, Blaine,
just say Blaine.
Tatum, plus Greg Powers and Mallory Hartley,
and Ashley Pickle. Yep, of course.
all of them. For Matt Stepp, I'm Greg Tepper. We will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. sharp, for another Coaching School edition of Texas Football Today. I almost screwed it up at the end. Bye.
Type of Steps Tuesday.